What's up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Wednesday, August 16th. Dan Kasper Show on the air. Radio dials, you got a couple of those. That's 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available online, sportstalk1051.com. Stream it there, your Google and Alexa home devices. Video stream also up and rolling, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Happy Wednesday. Happy making the turn Wednesday. Already halfway through the week here. Big thanks for making us a part of your starts on this Wednesday morning. What do we got on the game plan here for you all? We're going to chat some baseball. Brewers last night falling to the LA Dodgers 6-2, a season low for the Crew in hits, just 2 hits last night for the Brewers. Jumped out to a 1-0 lead, but wasn't a whole lot going on after that until the 7th when Santana hit that dinger. But yeah, 6th inning exploded for the Dodgers. 5 runs led, kind of because of an error, another error, Monasterio over there. So Brewers dropping game 1 of the series. The positive notes, I suppose, if we're looking at the positive side of things, didn't lose any ground in the division race because both the Cubs and the Reds lost last night. Shout out to the White Sox for beating the Cubs. Shout out to the Guardians for beating the Cincinnati Reds. So even with the loss, Brewers still remain 3.5 up on the division lead. Tonight, though, should be an interesting start, I would think. 2 lefties, 2 veteran lefties going at it for each team. Wade Miley gonna go for the Brew Crew, 6-2, 2.90 ERA on the season. Was his 3rd start after coming off the injured list there, but they've got to face Clayton Kershaw. We know the Brewers, for the most part this season, have struggled to go up against left-handed pitchers. So, and then they got to go up against Kershaw, who has just been on fire the last few games here. He's 4-0 in his last 7 games, 1.88 ERA. Man, guy doesn't age, it seems like. But Wade Miley in his last couple outings, go back to the 2nd against Washington when he went 4 innings, giving up 1 earned run. Colorado on the 8th, 6 innings, just one earned run. So hopefully Wade Miley is at his Wade Miley self, but offense needs to give him a little boost. Can they do that against Clayton Kershaw tonight? We shall see. But you look at Kershaw's last few games here too. He was missing some time. So, you kind of add all that together and he's been on fire, but missed the whole month of July. And his recent start going back on the 10th against Colorado. But still, it's like he picked up where he left off. 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. Before that, 6 innings, no earned runs. Before that, 7 innings, no earned runs. Just Clayton Kershaw he's having another solid year this morning or this year. So, all right. What else do we got on the docket? So we'll talk some Brewers, recapping the loss. Not a whole lot to recap from last night, to be honest with you. You had 2 hits from the Brewers, and big error in the later in the game in the 5th inning that's allowed all those runs to score for the Dodgers. So, but we'll take a look and preview this game coming up here. What else do we got? We're going to talk some football. Packers, Patriots, joint practices beginning today. Practice numero uno. They'll practice a couple times before their game on Saturday night. So Packers had the off day yesterday. We'll see what kind of work each team's able to get in with each other. Again, I don't, will there be any scrimmage or scuffles like there were against the Bengals and such? But you don't know how that's going to all play out. But hey, if anybody's going out, I know a few of you mentioned the other day that you're going to be heading over to Green Bay and checking out practice and such. So Yeah, you'll see their new running back Zeke Elliott and such. But got a little football here to talk about. We'll throw a little college football talk into this equation here too. What gets you more excited? Is it the start of the NFL season or is it the start of the college football season? Which one are you looking forward to the most this year? Are you looking forward to this Packer season starting, or are you looking forward to the Badgers season starting? Luke Fickle era, Jordan Love era. Which season are you looking forward to the most to start now that we are just a couple of weeks, from the Badgers starting, a little bit longer before the green and gold get started here. But, now that you've gotten some practice, and yesterday we were chatting about, Jordan Love and the optimism, maybe that's a little bit higher. Majority of you saying it is definitely higher for you. Um, Now that you've seen him play in a game, now that you've kind of seen him practice, and maybe you are one of those that has a little bit more optimism about Jordan Love, does that change a little bit your excitement level for this Packers season coming up here? Which one are you looking forward to the most this year? Badger football, Packers season. What do you got? And start to hit me up with some text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Stock reports are due. We're going to hit up a little stock report. So whose stocks are rising, whose stocks are falling. That was your homework assignment, so you better send those puppies on over, okay? So send those on over. We'll get to that just past 8 o'clock here this morning. We'll do a little stock report there. We might even throw a little Bucks chat in here because uh, remember the NBA, they've got that in-season tournament. That in-season tournament. So the NBA recently released the schedule for the upcoming NBA in-season tournament, and it tips off, pun intended, November 3rd. We know that the Bucks have been bracketed in Group B alongside Miami, the Knicks, Wizards, and the Hornets. So maybe kind of take a look at that. I know we talked a lot about do you like it, and the majority of you, if you remember, was it a couple months ago when this dropped? But most of you, were of the mindset of like, we'll see how it kind of plays out. We're willing to give it a shot. Willing to give it a shot. But so you're getting little bits of this NBA schedule coming out here. Bucks, their first one is going to be November 3rd, Friday, November 3rd against the Knicks. Then at Charlotte, November 17th. Then against Washington, November 24th. Then they're at Miami on November, 28th over there. So we're starting to get a little bit of the NBA schedule coming out here. So we'll throw a little bit of hoops chat in there too if we got a hot minute or so. So we'll hit that up. I think we're going to do another edition of Showdown probably coming up in the 8 o'clock hour as well. We'll hit that up. I might even throw a little pop quiz questions here. It's been a few days since we threw in a pop quiz question, so we'll go ahead and do that. Maybe get the mind flowing here early this morning, halfway through the week here. So, but hey, let's get things going here this morning. Let's just jump right into it. The leadoff. We're gonna throw a little baseball talk in here. We'll throw a little football talk in here too. Brewers taking on the Dodgers. We'll preview Game 2 coming up tonight. We'll talk a little football. Which one are you most excited for? Badger season to start with a Luke Fickle, or the Packers season to start with Jordan Love? How about this? Maybe a little hot take-ish, maybe, but hey, I want to get your thoughts. Which team do you think has the best shot? So I guess let me rephrase this. Do you think the Badgers have a better shot at winning the Big Ten championship football, or the Packers winning the NFC North? Who do you believe has the best chance? Okay, I'll ask it again. Think about it for a couple minutes and start hitting me up with those texts, tweets, Facebook messages, video stream stuff. If you were placing a bet, putting some money on it, which one would you be more confident in? Which one do you think would have the best odds? Badger football winning the Big Ten championship, not their division, not the West. Big Ten championship, so going to Indy and beating Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State or whoever it's going to be. Badger football winning the Big Ten, with the Packers winning the NFC North. Winning the NFC North. Which one at this point in time on August 16th would you be willing, if you had a couple bucks, to throw down on? All right, think about it for a little bit. Hit me up with some texts. 715-830-1912. We'll take a quick break. Then coming up, we'll do a little bit of a buffet, smorgasbord of topics. We'll throw some Brewers chat in. We'll see what you all have to say about kind of the question of the day here. Get things going here. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Got a take on today's topic but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
Dr. Logan Shepke from Shepke Chiropractic is joining me right now. And Logan, it sounds like you just want to give a nice thank you, shout out to some of your patients.
I do.
There.
Yeah, it's been awesome. The support we've had, going through the different stages of acquiring the Altoona office, and then now with the new child here. So really thankful for all the referrals that I've been receiving from patients or other medical providers, and the support from my existing patients. You guys have been awesome. So shout out to you guys.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And, looking at the calendar here quickly too, we got football coming up with those youngsters with camp. So it might be a good time to maybe make some appointments and get adjusted before camp.
Absolutely.
And even during football season.
Absolutely. All ages. Yeah. Get in, get yourself straight, and then hit it hard.
Yeah, definitely. And be safe out there too, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So again, big thank you to everybody who's stopped by to Shepke Chiropractic. And if you want to make an appointment, where do they go to?
ShepkeChiropractic.com.
At Security Financial Bank, we understand what it takes to grow what matters. We know success doesn't happen overnight. It takes honest work, day in and day out. We value trust, leadership, and service. We are SFB, bankers who believe in your business, your farm, your family, your future. Bankers who believe in you. Learn more at sfbank.com. Member FDIC.
Since 1946, Ansay & Associates has provided insurance to help secure families throughout Wisconsin. Our experienced and local agents are here to assess your individual needs and ensure your family is protected. As one of Wisconsin's top 10 insurance agencies, Ansay & Associates is here to provide all of your insurance needs, from home and auto to life insurance and specialty coverage. Learn more at ansay.com. That's ANSAY.com.
Don't wait. Save smarter with a 5.20% annual percentage yield 9-month certificate from Royal Credit Union. Royal's 5.20% 9-month certificate has no minimum opening balance and a locked-in rate for a guaranteed return on your investment. Open a 5.20% 9-month certificate at any Royal office or online at rcu.org/certificate520. Early withdrawal penalties could reduce earnings and principal. APY accurate as of 7/27/23. Insured by NCUA.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. The Army National Guard has taught me the value of showing respect to those I come in contact with each day. My service also allows me to be there for my community in ways others can't. I help my hometown recover after nature strikes. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country and those I care about safe from threats. I also work with a network of professionals that help me succeed and accomplish the mission. Plus, the Army National Guard education benefits make getting a higher education a reality. Being an Army National Guard soldier makes living and serving in my community more rewarding every day. Learn how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
The crack of the bat, a strikeout, or seeing the game-winning hit. There's nothing better than going to a baseball game. Hi, this is Jay from Herrick and Hart. Not everyone can get out and see a game. As a matter of fact, if you've been hurt in an accident, it's tough to get out and enjoy a game. That's where Herrick and Hart can help. Herrick and Hart are experts at helping you navigate the difficult legal process. If you've been hurt in an accident, call in the closers at Herrick and Hart in Eau Claire. You can find us online at eauclairlaw.com.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
The latest sports news, scores, opinion, and commentary. If that's not enough, you should seek professional help. The Dan Kasper Show.
Do you believe that everyone deserves a safe and decent place to call home? At Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity, they share this belief and work tirelessly to make it a reality. Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit organization dedicated to building homes and communities for families in need. With the help of generous donors, dedicated volunteers, and partnerships with local communities, they're able to bring in hope and stability to those who need it most. Imagine the joy on a family's face as they step foot into their new home, a home that they've worked alongside volunteers to build. It's a life-changing moment that fills hearts with gratitude and hope for a brighter future. But they need your help. Whether you can spare your time, donate funds, or offer your skills, every contribution counts. Together, we can make a lasting impact. Be a part of something greater than yourself. Visit cvh4h.org or stop by the Restore to learn more. Together, build homes, build hope, and build a better future for families in need, because everyone deserves a place to call home. All right, let's get things going here this morning on this Wednesday morning here. Brew Crew falling last night, held to a season low 2 hits, I guess. At least the 2 hits were 2 runs for the Brewers, but nonetheless, that was kind of the highlights. 2 hits, 2 runs, error by the Crew that kind of opened up the floodgates for the Dodgers last night. Bo Miller was on for the Dodgers, and what can you say? But it was that 6th inning, bottom of the 6th, 5 runs the Dodgers were able to put up. Monasterio with the error that kind of helped lead to the floodgates there. So after that, Brewers just, they jumped out to an early 1-0 lead, but it was quiet after that up until the 7th when Santana hit that solo shot. But man, kind of a dull game last night, right? Especially with maybe staying up late and such, and you're like, oh, all right, Dodgers, Brewers, let's see how this thing rolls. And it was just kind of a clunker, the dud. But hey, that's why we play another one tonight, right? Wade Miley and Clayton Kershaw going to be on the mound for the Crew. And you got a little bit of experience between these two lineups and these pitching staffs here. Which, I mean, Miley and Kershaw have been around for a while. So, yeah, you're going to have a few guys that have had quite a bit of experience against these guys. And when you're looking at the Dodgers lineup going up against Wade Miley, well, Freeman, 348 and 23 at-bats, 2 home runs. Freeman puts up good numbers almost against everybody, but against Wade Miley, he's spectacular. Not to outdo him, but Mookie Betts, again, guy is pretty spectacular player in himself, but 474 and 19 at-bats. So 2 of your top players for the Dodgers, career-wise, have put up some fantastic numbers against Wade Miley. Others, you've got Martinez, 12 at-bats, just 167. Taylor, 10 at-bats, 300 and such. So Rojas, 13 at-bats, 154. But potentially it might be a problem. Betts and Freeman are always a problem, but maybe a little bit more of a problem for the Crew tonight, given their history going up against Wade Miley. On the flip side, not as much experience with some of these Brewers hitters going up against Kershaw like there is for the Dodgers going up against Wade Miley. And a lot of it, too, is, Brewers, some new guys, younger guys, so they haven't played that much against Kershaw, haven't even been in the league, as long as some of these other guys. But Yelich, the one positive in this thing is that Yelich, who's got the most career ABs against Kershaw among Brewers players, in 22 at-bats, he's got a couple of home runs, and he's actually hitting 409 against Clayton Kershaw. Brewers are going to need that version of Christian Yelich tonight. They're going to need the Christian Yelich that can go out there and get himself a couple of hits. Top of the lineup there, but you know what? Even if he gets himself a couple of hits, nobody behind him can't do anything. They can't manufacture runs. They can't get him across the board. It ain't going to matter. So who's that going to be? Is it going to be Contreras? Well, Contreras is hitting 333 with a home run against Kershaw in his career, but just 3 at-bats. Others, Brian Anderson, 13 at-bats, has struggled against Clayton Kershaw. 0.77 average. Willie Adames in just 6 at-bats, 167. But maybe one guy who can potentially shine here a little bit. And it's a guy who's been racking up some doubles as of late. In his last few games here, too, he's 261. It's Mark Canha. Mark Canha, lifetime against Clayton Kershaw, 13 at-bats, hitting 308. Would love nothing more than to see a Mark Canha game tonight. I know he had a couple hits against the White Sox back on Sunday, was hitless last night. But somebody's going to have to help out Christian Yelich tonight. Christian Yelich can get on base all he wants, but if nobody's going to get him across the board, it'll be pointless. Who's going to be that guy? I should say, who's going to be those guys? I mean, you got Bryce Harang, no experience, nothing. Sal Frelick, nothing. Monasterio, nothing. No experience, nothing. Unless Yelly's just going to hit dingers every time that he's up at the plate. He's got to get some help tonight. He's got to get some help from the rest of that lineup. Who's it going to come from? It's got to come from a few of those players. But, man, it's going to be tough. I hate to be kind of a downer, but if I'm picking a game tonight, if I'm picking this Brewers and Cardinals game, or a Brewers-Dodgers game, excuse me, I'm going Dodgers. You factor in Kershaw. Dodgers are playing some really good baseball right now. I mean, they are hot. They're hot right now. I mean, it sure looks like Dodgers and Braves, if you were to do a National League, who's going to meet up in the National League Championship Series. But the Dodgers, streak hits 9. Miller last night retired 18 in a row. 18 in a row. And then Brewers don't have a chance to catch their breath They don't have a chance to catch their breath. You got Kershaw tonight. I feel like the Dodgers are going to get another win tonight. And then we'll maybe give it a try. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Wade Miley goes out there and I hope he just lights them up, shuts them down. Nobody's getting on. Defense is superb behind them, and the offense just kind of explodes off Kershaw. But if I was putting some money on it, if I was laying some bets, I got to go with the Dodgers tonight. Hope I'm wrong. But just in case, go Guardians again and go White Sox. Help out the Brewers like you did last night. All right. So that game tonight's going to be another late one. You can catch it at 105.1 FM, 790 AM, 9:10 first pitch. 9:10 first pitch. It's going to be 9:10 tomorrow night as well. Even though it's the last game of the series, Brewers just got to travel down to Texas for their game on Friday against the Rangers. But when you look at Major League Baseball and you're kind of looking at how everything's playing out as we are approaching the final quarter of the regular season here, not a whole lot has necessarily changed in the standings, and maybe some teams are starting to kind of fall out of it. I mean, you got the Yankees in the American League who have lost 4 in a row now. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They're sitting at 500, 60-60. Angels, for all the moves that they made before the deadline, I mean, can we close the door on them? They're 8 back from a wild card spot right now. They're 3-7 in their last 10. So really, when you look at the American League, Baltimore and Tampa still going back and forth in terms of who's going to win the division there. Texas up a couple games over Houston. Tampa and Houston holding on to the wild card spots right now. I feel like we all know, like, Baltimore, Texas, Tampa, and Houston are probably going to the postseason. Unless something dramatic happens. Minnesota is up a few games over Cleveland in the division. Minnesota's probably going to the postseason here. So really, when it comes down to the American League, it might be a battle for just one spot, one wild card spot. If we're shutting the door on some of these, because I'm ready to shut the door on the Angels. The Yankees have talent there. I don't know if I trust them. I don't know if I trust them that right now. I mean, with the Yankees, they got a negative run differential. They're -12. The Yankees, for crying out loud. So Seattle's still, 2 back from a wild card spot. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Boston's still hanging around 3 back from a wild card spot. So can't necessarily count those guys out at this point in time. But, Toronto's holding on to that final spot. I think right now, AL, maybe it's just one spot to kind of keep watching here. National League, I think division-wise, Atlanta's going to take care of their division, right? Atlanta's going to take care of their division. Dodgers, the way they're playing right now, winning 9 in a row. Was it 9 in a row now? 9-1 in their last 10. Looks like they're going to get their division. I know San Francisco still, a few games back here, but sure looks like Atlanta, Dodgers, Milwaukee going back, up 3.5 now with the Reds and Cubs. I don't think anybody's ready to be confident in the Brewers' chances right now. But the race is outside the NL Central. There's a little bit more at stake here in the National League when it comes to doing a little scoreboard watching for some playoff position, because this wild card chase might get kind of crazy here, because Philly's holding on to the top spot right now. San Francisco's at the 2. Miami has jumped back in it. They're in the 3. Cubs, Reds, 1 game out from that final wild card spot. Then you got Arizona that's just 2.5 back. 2.5 back. But Cincinnati's been 3-7 in their last 10. Even Arizona's 3-7 in their last 10. Padres, 5.5. But they ain't going in. They're not going to go on a run here and get in. So really, when you're looking at it for the National League, I think it's going to be a crazy finish for the National League wild card spots. And, I mean, NL Central over there too. Not ready to shut the door on that. Not even close. So Brewers, 10 games over 500 right now. 120 games in. By the time they're done with this Dodger series, they'll be into the final quarter of their regular season right now. Only 42 more games left to go on this thing. 42 more games. They're sitting there at 65. What's that magic number, do you think, for the Crew? Where you're like, they get 85, they're in. Whether it's a wild card or division championship, they're in. What's that number? Is that 82? I keep going to like, okay, so 42 more games left to go. They're at 65 wins. If they go, I think if they win like 21, I mean, that's what, 500 ball? If the Brewers go 500 ball, they play 500 ball. So that's 21 and 21 the rest of the way. Is that good enough to get in, you think? That's 21 more wins. 21 plus 65. Elementary math tells me that's 86 wins. If the Brewers go 500 the rest of the way here, 2 more against the Dodgers, 3 against Texas, Minnesota, Padres, couple series with the Cubbies, Phillies on there, Pittsburgh, Yankees, Miami, Washington, Miami actually a couple times. That might be some interesting playoff positioning series there. But and then St. Louis and Cubs, 500 ball. The Brewers just play 500 ball. Is that going to be good enough to get into 86 wins? What do you think? Yay or nay? Yay or nay? Let me know. Okay? Hit me up with a text, tweet, Facebook, comment on the video stream. All right, let's take a quick break here. Which season are you most looking forward to start? Packers, Badgers, Luke Fickell, Jordan Love, what do you got?
180! The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
It seems like these days things are getting a bit more expensive. And maybe when it comes to shopping for you and your family, you're operating under a budget. Well, here's a tip that will instantly help you stay in your budget when it comes to your shopping, plus some added benefits. Shop at Hy-Vee. It's that simple. Their sales are incredible. They have a wide variety of top-notch quality items to choose from, all while you're helping save some money at the gas pump with their Fuel Savers programs. You shouldn't have to sacrifice quality when it comes to shopping. And by shopping at Hy-Vee, you don't have to. Go visit Hy-Vee in Eau Claire for all of your shopping needs.
Today's job market is full of demand for skilled trade workers. Electricians, welders, mechanics, these and other trades are the backbone of every community. They're also a huge part in making sure the Army National Guard is always fulfilling its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. With options from plumber to helicopter mechanic and everything in between, soldiers are able to select the trades that best fit their lives. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Since 1946, Ansay & Associates has provided insurance to help secure businesses throughout Wisconsin. Customer satisfaction is our first and foremost priority. As one of Wisconsin's top 10 insurance agencies and among the top 5% of agents nationwide, Ansay & Associates can provide all of your insurance needs, from business, commercial to employee benefits. Ansay & Associates, securing and protecting your American dream.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union, the local Wisconsin team that's always rooting for you. Step up your Brewers style with a limited edition fleece vest giveaway at the game against the Phillies on Saturday, September 2nd. Given to the first 30,000 ticket advance through the gates, courtesy of UB and Abraham. Grab your seats at brewers.com. UW Credit Union, here for every you. Join today.
Make a difference in people's lives and get some exercise too. Register now for the Buckshot Run to support Special Olympics Wisconsin in the Chippewa Valley. The Buckshot Run is September 2nd in beautiful Carson Park. 2 and 5 mile course, both courses are walk or run. And for your sustenance, stick around for the Batter's Box food truck. Support Special Olympics Wisconsin. Get healthy and have fun on September 2nd at Carson Park. Register today at buckshotrun.com. Make a difference in people's lives and get some exercise too. Register now for the Buckshot Run to support Special Olympics Wisconsin in the Chippewa Valley. The Buckshot Run is September 2nd in beautiful Carson Park. 2 and 5 mile course, both courses are walk or run. And for your sustenance, stick around for the Batter's Box food truck. Support Special Olympics Wisconsin. Get healthy and have fun on September 2nd at Carson Park. Register today at buckshotrun.com.
I'd like to get real with you for a moment. All across the country and even in our town, there are people who have to go without. Perhaps even you, having to go without being able to hear parts of the Dan Kasper Show. It's tragic, but there is help. You can listen to segments from Dan's show and new content on the Man Cave podcast. Check it out for yourself on your favorite podcasting platform.
Wake up and smell the magic that is Cabin Coffee in Altoona. From the moment you step in, you're embraced by the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the warmth of community. Their skilled baristas handcraft each cup with love, ensuring every sip is an experience worth savoring. Even if you're not a coffee person, they've got something for you, for everyone. Embrace the comfort of a cabin getaway right in your favorite coffee shop. Visit Cabin Coffee today at 2922 Meadowlark Lane in Altoona. Elevate your coffee experience at Cabin Coffee because life's just too short for ordinary brews. If you were a betting person, what's most likely to happen? What's more likely to happen? Badger football winning the Big Ten championship, not their division side, but the Big Ten championship overall. So going to Indy and beating Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State, whoever's going to come out of there. Is it Badger football or is it the Packers winning the NFC North? Now, I think it's fair to maybe say that, if we ask the other part of the question too, and I know I phrased it a little poorly heading into the break, but I said, which one are you most excited about? Is it the start of the Badger football season, which is 2.5 weeks coming up here, 2 weeks from Saturday, or the Packer football season here? But if I ask that, I wouldn't be surprised, if we got majority saying Badger football because new era, new, Luke Fickell, just everything brand new with this Badger football team, new quarterbacks. You got some receivers over there, Braylon Allen. We know what to expect from him. I would say there's probably going to be a big chunk of people, maybe even the majority, saying Badger football. I'm more excited about Badger football this year. But then if I follow it up and ask this question, if you were a betting person, what's more likely to happen? I wouldn't be surprised the majority of those same people who said they're more excited about Badger football to start, that they would say, well, Packers would have the best chance to win the NFC North. And honestly, I'm maybe I'm in that same boat. I'm big. I love my football. I love my Green Bay football. But there's something new for each team, right? There's the new energy. There's the new quarterback with Green Bay and such. You got the new coaching staff with the Badgers, new scheme and mindset and all that. But if I were to pick, if I were to answer the question, Badger football winning the Big Ten championship or the Packers winning the NFC North, which one's most likely to happen? I'm probably going to go with the Packers with the NFC North. And I'll kind of go back to what we were chatting a little bit about yesterday. The NFC North, I don't think it's a clear-cut, open, shut, just right in, the Lions winning the thing. They're the popular pick. They're the trendy pick. They're the, everybody's got big expectations for the Lions this year, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I get it. I understand it. A lot of excitement. But I don't see that as a, shut it down. It's not like the Chiefs to me in the AFC West. It's like, okay, Chiefs, mark it in. Boom. Go win their division. I don't see that. I see it coming down to the final week, maybe the final couple weeks here. I just think the NFC North, it's going to be a little bit more open than what the narrative is kind of out there surrounding the North. Don't overlook Minnesota. I know there's Bears fans excited about their year coming up here too. And don't overlook Green Bay either. So I think, if I had a couple bucks to lay down and this was actually a thing that you can put some money on, I'd pick the Packers to have the better chance to win the NFC North over the Badgers. And that's not to say the Badgers won't have a good year either this year. I looking at, schedules and you look at, I see this Badger football team like a 10-win team. I think they can absolutely do that. 100%. But can I see them going to Indy and beating, Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State? I don't know. Not really. Maybe in a couple of years. That's the thing, too. It's so, when you get a new coaching staff put in place, like in the NFL, and you're changing up a bunch of stuff and you got some new players coming in, you get, expectations for the most part are a little bit lower. Like you're not expecting a lot. Like, Carolina, not expecting a lot. Houston, not expecting a whole lot. But in college, it's a little bit different. You can bring in an entirely new coaching staff. You got the transfer portal. You're bringing in, some of these new guys. And expectations can still be high to go out there and be a winner. And I think Badgers fans still have high expectations for this football club or this football team for this upcoming year. I don't know if they're, we'll see how they actually perform on the field when we get there here in a couple weeks and such. But I just right now, if I'm making a pick, I would not pick them to beat Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State at this point. But I'm pretty darn excited. That it's only just a couple weeks away for that season to start after this whole, that feels like Luke Fickell has been there for a few years already just because of, when he was first hired earlier in the year, not even December, whatever the heck it was. It feels like he's been there for a few years now. We've gravitated, we've hung on every Luke Fickell bat signal on the X or Twitter or whatever it is. We've been, enamored with the transfer portal, these quarterbacks coming in, these wide receivers coming in, coaching staff he's putting together. There's more content out there. They're doing a really good job of marketing it and putting it in our faces and that. So it feels like the Luke Fickell era has been around, more than just more than not even a year. It feels like it's been around for a few years at this point. So for it to finally, kind of get here and be here in a couple weeks, it's like feels like it's been like that for a while. I'm excited for both, and I don't want to give away any picks because I'm not ready to make this yet. I'm not ready to make football picks, but I do feel like what's the baseline? What's the Packers win-loss total on Vegas? Let me see if I can bring it up here. Packers, or what's the lines here? See if I can find it. What is it here? To win the NFC North, they're plus 400, it looks like. Okay. I don't want individual games. So the Packers are already 2.5 underdogs against the Bears. Coming up here. All right. Wow, they actually do. Okay. There's actually odds for the preseason game against the Patriots. All right. Whatever. Okay. Apparently I'm not allowed to go to some of these websites for our work computer here. So let's say what? 5.5, 6. If anybody can look it up and tell me, because I'm not allowed to apparently. But if anybody can look it up and tell me what the odds are, what's the line for wins and losses for Green Bay according to Vegas and that, I feel like Green Bay is going to be a little bit over. If it's 5.5 or 6, I feel like they're going to be over. Not ready to put my stamp on it right now because, knock on wood, stuff can happen in preseason games and practice and all that stuff. But right now, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling they're going to be kind of a surprise this year. And again, it could be just my rose-colored glasses here in a little bit, and it's just my excitement and my enthusiasm to start the season. But I don't know. I feel like they're going to be a little better. Bakhtiari again was on the Jim Rome show yesterday, and he had nothing but positive stuff to say about Jordan Love. And to me, again, I think one of the biggest compliments and one of the biggest indicators or however you want to phrase it when it comes to Jordan Love, we're hearing it from AJ Dillon. Him and AJ Dillon are best friends. We're really good friends. Matt LaFleur, of course, he's going to say that. Goody, yes, he's going to say that. But for Bakhtiari, who's been around and he's BFFs with Rodgers and such, for him to come out and continue to say these positive things, I think means a lot. And he's out there again saying it. Saying it on the Jim Rome show yesterday. And I think that's kind of getting me even a little bit more excited about this upcoming season, about what we're about to see with Jordan Love. Okay, I was able to get on BetMGM 7.5. Okay, so BetMGM. At least one website worked for me. Packers win over 7.5 games is 120, minus 120, while the under is plus 100. They're the lowest win total in the NFC North, along with the Bears. Okay, so Lions, 9.5. Vikings, 8.5. Bears, 7.5. Packers, 7.5. That's actually a little higher than I thought they were going to have them at. All right. Ooh, 7.5. Give me the over right now. I'm not going to put my stamp on it yet. Give me the over. Slightly. Lions under slightly. There's some reason I feel like the NFC North champion is not going to have double-digit wins this year. I feel like the NFC right now at this point in middle of August, I feel like the NFC North champion is not going to have double-digit wins. It's just something in my gut that's telling me that right now. And I could be completely wrong in that case. All right, quick update on the because I put that poll question up on the Twitter page. 75% of you going with the Packers. Badger football winning the Big Ten championship or Packers winning the NFC North. Which one is most likely to happen? 75% of you saying the green and gold winning the NFC North. If you don't have X or Twitter, whatever the heck it's called, you can hit us up with a text. on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or comment on the video stream or whatever's easier for you to get a hold of us with. We'll finish up the second hour here this morning with first hour, Morgan. I'm ready to close it already on a day.
Trying to rush it. Yeah. This doesn't seem like anybody's favorite day. I made the rounds this morning and everybody's just kind of going thumbs down early and often.
Mm-hmm.
Something bad happened. You spill your coffee, get a flat tire, or just kind of one of those general fronts.
I forgot my coffee. So, yeah.
Darling.
I'll get one here in a few minutes.
Yeah. That's not acceptable. Well, we have Wednesday wildcard action that can wake you up. We're just going to shuffle up a bunch of questions here, but we're playing roulette versus card deck. You get to spin the wheel, pick a number between 1 and 28, Kasper, and then we get to probe for information from you.
21.
All right. What type of music is your favorite?
See, I hate that question because I got favorites all over across the board.
Okay,
it depends the mood I'm in, really.
So for today, what would you listen to in your no coffee bad mood?
I wouldn't say I'm in a bad mood. I'm just like
You're in a
tired,
uncaffeinated mood.
Yeah.
You're hitting shuffle. What are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, so my playlist on Spotify, if it comes through, I'll stop it. It ain't a country mood today.
Okay.
It's not a country mood today. Although I will say there's probably more of those on my Spotify list. But it's probably more of like the little hip hop.
Okay.
Right now.
You're going to go like Tupac,
a little Nelly.
Biggie, Nelly. Oh, bringing back the Northern Wisconsin State Fair vibe this year.
Nelly. Well, Tupac, little changes. Not a bad one there too. So,
yeah. Okay, so what do you know? Is there a genre you don't listen to? Not even a little bit?
Like 70s.
What?
Mm-mm.
No Elton John?
Mm-mm.
Nothing from, I mean, I know there's a big chunk of disco that hangs out in the 70s, and that's pretty polarizing, but Elton John's in there. You got the Stones, even some, you don't like the Stones.
You remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
No, you have to pick the Beatles then. You have to like one or the other, or you're not allowed to be on Earth.
I don't think I've listened to them enough to form an opinion about the Beatles.
Your assignment is to listen to the Beatles
I don't know
then.
if I can.
Well, you don't like Start Me Up at Lambeau. That's hardly the whole catalog for the Stones. I think they have a few more.
I don't know. That's the only one I hear all the time.
All right. Spin the wheel. You got to go back to the 1 through 28.
See, like Foo Fighters type of thing.
It is a Foo.
Yeah.
It's always a good day for Foo Fighters, yeah.
Actually, it's probably a good one there too. So, all right. 17.
17. What's one thing that can instantly make your day better? Well, today,
Coffee. Yeah.
That'd be an easy fix. On that note, what do you do on your commute? Do you have are you one of those guys that has like a routine?
Yes.
You get in. Okay, so take us through your day to get here before you end up falling in the studio tired.
Wake up, shower, brush my teeth, put the clothes on, feed the dog, brew the coffee, check my email, get in the truck, grab my backpack, get in the truck, drive here.
You don't brush your teeth in the shower?
No.
What?
Why would you brush your teeth in the shower?
It's the king move for multitasking. I recommend it to everybody. It's such a time saver. And it makes
I ain't spitting my, whatever stuff in the what?
Well, you don't have to brush like you're rabid. You shouldn't have foam flying everywhere. It's just a real time saver. I totally suggest it. I really
time saver. A minute?
I'm telling
You're saving
everybody.
A minute.
Brush your teeth in the shower. Tell me it's not a great idea. I thought everyone did until I mentioned it to somebody and they had that reaction. Like I was some kind of a monster.
I don't know. I've never brushed my teeth.
It's so efficient.
I mean, I've had a shower beer.
Well, everyone, is that part of your morning routine?
I wish it was.
That's all right. No judgment here.
No.
So you want to go for a bush light instead of a brush? That's where you're going to go in the shower?
Yeah.
Try it tomorrow and see if it doesn't completely change the way you go about your morning routine.
I don't know if I can do that. That just seems weird.
I'll die
It's
on
like
that
it's
hill,
like George Costanza when he pees in the
Exactly.
shower. They're all pipes. They
Not
lead to the same
bad,
place.
but the toothbrush I'm behind.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 newsroom, it's Morgan McCarthy with your news on Sports Talk 105.1.
Good morning. Well, here's what we're learning today. We start with an Eau Claire man being held on $2 million bond after police say he admitted to beating his wife to death. Prosecutors yesterday filed charges against 81-year-old John Berthold as police say he told them that he killed his wife for being a narcissist. Family members say they were getting divorced. Investigators say Berthold tried to kill himself after killing his wife, but the son found him before he could. Prosecutors saying Berthold told detectives he takes full responsibility for killing his wife. It was wheels down for Air Force One in Wisconsin yesterday. President Joe Biden talking about his economic accomplishments. This was during a stop at a clean energy plant in Milwaukee Tuesday.
According to Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, my plan is leading to a boom. They call it a boom in manufacturing. And manufacturing investment, as you're seeing right here in this factory.
Showing you different sides so you can decide. Not everybody agrees. The chair of the state Republican Party cited high gas prices and saying Biden has failed Wisconsin families. If you look at the political calendar, the president's trip came a little more than a week before Republican presidential candidates take the stage to debate in Milwaukee. Going to Madison at our own state capitol and looking behind those doors, lawmakers today at work on some plans that would shrink how much land the state can hold for roads, sewers, or ditches. State Rep Dave Murphy behind this plan that would shrink Wisconsin's current 100-foot setback to just 50 feet. WisDOT says landowners must have 100 feet of open land next to highways. Murphy says that takes away usable land and value. He says the governor can give people back their land simply by signing his new plan. There's a warning about fake $100 bills in the Dells if you're headed that way for a little family trip here. Police just want you to know that there's counterfeit money circulating in the area. They were warning shops and restaurants to be on the lookout for bills that say motion picture or replica. And one more thing, counterfeit bills don't have a watermark, especially in the water capital of the world. Right? And let's take a trip down the Midway. Wisconsin State Fair saw more than 1 million visitors this year. Looking at the numbers, fair managers say that they had a pretty good head count. This year's jumped by about 40,000 people, a 4% increase over last year's number. And there was a puff to the bottom line as well. 300,000 cream puffs left the pavilion. And as far as that giant slide, 100,000 wheeze on the way down. And howdy, neighbor. Friendly Mr. Rogers and his cardigans suggested that we should all be friendly neighbors. A new survey says, hey, that could actually make you happy.
According to Gallup, American adults who regularly greet more than one neighbor have better well-being than those who don't say hello or greet just one. Older Americans and those with higher incomes tend to greet their neighbors more often. On average, the poll says Americans report greeting 5 neighbors. Over a quarter say hello to 6 or more. I'm Mark Mayfield.
You know, that's weird. We were talking about just some kind of HR awards here. Who should get Employee of the Month? And Kasper kept writing my name down. He submitted it how many times?
6 or more.
For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Starting off much warmer this morning. However, we'll have breezy southwesterly winds that'll bring in more humidity, and dew points be hanging out in the low 60s. Meanwhile, temperatures climbing to the upper 80s. Later tonight, a cold front moves through, bringing showers and storms, some of which may carry a severe threat, with the primary threat being some damaging winds. Otherwise cooling us off, but haze returns to the area tomorrow. Breezy once again with highs in the mid to upper 70s. I'm Sky 113 meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
It's time for some farm news on Sports Talk 105.1. Today, House Agriculture Committee Chairman Glenn Thompson of Pennsylvania, along with representatives from many facets of agriculture, will take part in a farm bill listening session at the Radisson Center in La Crosse. The event is planned to let different Wisconsin organizations within agriculture voice their opinions on what needs to be included in the next farm bill. Beneficial growing weather helped to boost crop ratings last week across the nation. USDA's weekly crop progress report listed the nation's corn crop as 59% good to excellent. That's up 2% from last week. Soybeans were rated 59% good to excellent. That's up 5% from last week and slightly above the 5-year average. Here in Wisconsin, timely rain helped to improve the corn crop rating to 55% good to excellent. That's up 2% from last week. And as of Sunday, 91% of the corn is through the silking phase, 4 days ahead of last year. And 39% of the crop is in the dough stage or beyond. Soybean rating remained the same as last week at 52% good to excellent. 90% of that crop has bloomed, 2 days behind last year, and 63% of the crop has set pods. Oat condition was rated 53% good to excellent, with 56% of the crop harvested. 88% of Wisconsin's winter wheat has been harvested, 3 days ahead of last year, with third crop alfalfa at 76% harvested and the fourth cutting of alfalfa at 9% complete. Topsoil moisture is rated 11% very short, 33% short, 55% adequate, and only 1% surplus. The Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board is going to be in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada today through Friday for a See for Yourself mission. Halifax is an important part of the transportation chain as a key point of transfer for shipments from the Northern Plains to European markets. And that's a look at our farm news on Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Jill Welke.
At Staples, school savings are always in session, from art supplies and essentials to the latest tech, in stock and priced low. School on, save on at your local Staples store.
Crank it up.
Hey, are you ready today? Get up. He's on his way. He's our man. The man, the myth, the legend. That's Dan.
And now, the Dan Kasper Show.
Here we go. Second hour kicking off on this Wednesday morning, Making Turn Wednesday. Appreciate you tuning in, wherever, however you may be tuning in from. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll get to some stock reports, whose stocks are rising and whose stocks are falling. You can play along with us if you'd like. Hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Hit us up with a tweet, Facebook message, or comment on the video stream, whatever is easier for you. We'll get back to more baseball talk and all that fun stuff. Our question of the day, if you will. If you were a betting person, which one would you be more confident in happening? The Badger football team winning the Big Ten championship game, or the Packers winning the NFC North? Last I checked, it was at about 66% going with the Packers winning the NFC North. Let's do some sports nuggets of the day, brought to you by Ansay Associates. 1920 fatality occurred in a Major League Baseball game. Ray Chapman with Cleveland was hit in the head with a fastball from Carl Mays of the New York Yankees. 1948, Babe Ruth died at the age of 53. 1954, Sports Illustrated was published for the very first time. It was claimed that 250,000 subscriptions had been sold before the first issue came off the presses. I want to get back to that here in just a second. 1981, Cal Ripken Jr. got his first major league hit. Let's go with 2002. The Major League Baseball Players Union announced that they would strike again, or would begin a strike on August 30th. I think 2003. Remember this? Michael Vick suffered a fractured right fibula in a 13-10 preseason loss to the Baltimore Ravens. Those are just some of your sports nuggets of the day, brought to you by Ansay Associates. I can't remember. For some reason, I feel like this is, but I could be completely wrong. Luke, do you have a cover of the first Sports Illustrated in your office?
I have it framed.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and
the reprint, was it, or
I don't recall.
Okay,
my dad got it for me, and I mean, I can go look, but
because I know they sell like the reprint frame sort of thing. I don't know, or they used to. I don't know if they still do or not. But I wasn't sure if it was like an original. But I thought you had something with the first cover on
that's the one from County Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got. I think it is a blown up cover though. I want to say it's too big to be the actual magazine. That'd be relatively small. I think I got to double check. But yeah, it's the one. It's the one from County Stadium.
Yeah. So Luke gave you a hint, but I guess that could be kind of our little pop quiz. Can anybody tell me who is on the cover of that Sports Illustrated cover? So
I can't
got
remember,
a little bit of a
honestly.
hint. Oh, you don't remember?
Well, like I know it. I'd have to be reminded.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll give people a few minutes here. Do you subscribe to? I know Bob still does, or still did. I don't know. But were you a big Sports Illustrated fan back in the day?
Well, I
used to
have a subscription. I cut it,
12 years ago because of price.
Yeah.
And
Now
that
it's-
was before Sports Illustrated like kind of melted away into whatever it's kind of. I mean, it's not gone, but turned into nothing compared to what it used to be.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a while. But like, there is still a certain cachet to the name, and I think that always will be there to some degree or another.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know, Peter King used to write. Rick Riley. I remember Rick Riley's column always in there too. So was it? I think Mike Silver wrote for them for a little bit there too. But yeah, I miss the columns and all the report, the stories that they always told in there.
Yeah,
I really miss that.
Yeah, there are some there's some classic old ones that I still have lying around.
I was going to ask you, can you remember some of the covers of the ones that you still have?
Yeah, like, and of course it's always going to be like the formative ones. So like, I remember one of the first ones I remember reading as a kid was, I think it was after the 1984 AFC Championship game. This would have been Dolphins Steelers before the one where the 49ers blew out Miami in Palo Alto. But I remember paging through that a lot. And I think in that Sports Illustrated, if I recall correctly, they had like they had a bunch of Super Bowl stars and because this would have been going into Super Bowl 19, a bunch of Super Bowl stars wearing their jersey. But of course, this was January 1985. So, gosh, it'd be wild to go back and look at that 38 years ago. Because there's a lot of stars from the 60s and 70s, and they're relatively young. But that was my first time I saw a lot of them. Like Mercury Morris was in there, for example. But they found him in 1985 to do that. Gosh, now I got to go find that. I don't quite know where it is, but I know it's somewhere.
Yeah, I've got quite a few still saved from when I was a kid.
Those are the more indelible ones because those are your first impressions. So I'm always picturing like that championship game. I don't know if I watched it on TV. I remember watching the Super Bowl. I don't remember watching the game, that AFC championship game. But the pictures from the Orange Bowl are indelible because that was on the cover.
I think the last one I bought, because I will still buy one once in a while, but the last one I bought is strictly for what's on the cover. It was when the Bucks won the championship. So I picked up a Sports Illustrated because that was when the Bucks won the championship. Giannis, arms up and all that sort of stuff. I've gotten a couple Badger ones, I know, a couple Packer ones. I even got picked up a Brewers one back in 2011 because the cover was Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, Niger Morgan on the cover. But when I was a kid, my grandma had a subscription for me, so I can still remember. I've got the Tiger Woods from his first Masters one, still in really great shape, in so much shape. You remember when those covers sometimes would have like an advertisement over it, like those hard paper ones, like you'd like rip it out and send the card back in or whatever.
Yeah.
That still has that on there.
Wow.
So it's like, I think it was for like a golf club or some stupid thing like that. But I've got a lot of, Favre ones back in the day. I think, if he's listening, Beer Man Josh, I think one time he told me he's got every cover with Favre on it.
Really?
Sports Illustrated. But the one that there's two that always stand out to me. One with Favre and Holmgren eating breakfast, and Holmgren's like holding up a sausage or something like that.
That is a classic cover.
The other one I remember as a kid all the time, because I remember reading this too, was their Super Bowl prediction. It was a pull-out cover, but on the front was Reggie White, Robert Brooks, and Brett Favre. And then you pulled out the other cover, like it was folded in, and it was the Chiefs. Marcus Allen, Neil Smith was on that cover, and that was their prediction.
I vaguely remember that one too. I mean, there are all sorts that are popping back in my mind, like should the U drop football?
Oh, and then
stuff like
obviously, Desmond Howard on the cover after. I've got that one too. So
and probably the most recent example is the George Springer. Was it George Springer? The one with the Astros one. The Astros will win the World Series in a few years, and they're wearing the Tequila Sunrise throwbacks, and well, then they did.
Yep.
Yes, insert Astros. But it's true. They won the World Series. It was one of the most predictive covers, and I think it's the most recent one that mattered because I can barely think of a Sports Illustrated cover of late. Now that's for two reasons: A, the magazine's less of a big deal. B, but don't subscribe to it anymore.
Yeah,
but there are some absolute classics going all the way back.
Sports Illustrated I had, and I was Sporting News when it was still a paper too.
I remember I would sometimes read, I think it was Sport magazine.
Mhm.
It's pretty big back in the mid 80s. Like, I didn't subscribe to them, but like, I think like my grandpa on my mom's side ended up with a lot of those magazines. And so I would end up reading those within weeks or maybe a couple months. Like, I think, trying to remember if either he had them down at their place down in Rushford, south of Winona, or if he mailed them up back in the 80s. But I would end up reading a lot of those as well without subscribing. But you'd get those. And of course, back then, like the time was really immaterial. Like, ooh, this is interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but one thing last year I did buy one, and I was very disappointed in it because it's nothing like when I was a kid. Sports Illustrated for kids. I was very disappointed in it because I think now it only comes out every couple months or few months.
How frequently was it?
I thought when as a kid it was like every month, but now it's like every couple months or even like it's like 4 a year or something like that. And there really wasn't a whole lot in there. I remember always going to the library in elementary school and checking out Sports Illustrated for kids.
Did they put more of that stuff online?
Maybe. I don't know, but I was like, because I picked one up for Huts, and it was just that if I was a kid, I would have been interested in it. It really wasn't.
And now I can't really relate because by the time Sports Illustrated or SI for kids was a thing, I was already like a teenager. So I was well past that anyway. I wonder if there's like an app or something.
There's got to be. It's all online now. It's videos. It's YouTube and all that
Pivot
stuff.
to video?
Yeah. It's all that stuff.
Aggregating
now, so.
content.
Yep. Yeah. So, all right. I'll give a couple more minutes, but we have not got. I thought this would be an easy question, but who was on the first Sports Illustrated cover? Have not gotten a correct answer yet, even with your hint over there, Lucas.
County Stadium. So think it would have been either an Eau Claire Brave or, well,
don't give too many hints there, dude. So
or not an Eau Claire. Sorry, not Eau Claire Brave. I meant, what am I saying? A Milwaukee Brave. So no, that actually is not a hint. That is a total misnomer. It's either it's either, well, think of who was in the National League back in 1953. So it doesn't really narrow it down. There are a whole lot of possibilities there.
Possible. So I'll give a few more minutes if you want to text in, show off your skills over there. 715-830-1912. Before we take a quick break here, I got to ask you, Luke, too. Have you been seeing all this, like, I know it was like on Hard Knocks and that, but Oz the Mentalist stuff? Have you heard about this guy?
No, I've not.
So he was doing Hard Knocks thing here. And I don't know if you know, like, I think I heard about him last year. I think the Seahawks might have been the first one to, but he's like I don't know if magician is the right word.
Oz Perlman?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, I'm seeing. Yeah, a mentalist, magician, and athlete.
Okay. So, like, he did something with Aaron Rodgers at Hard Knocks clip of it.
Okay.
It was actually impressive. But Matt LaFleur last, a few days ago, said that they had him in. He does, like, team building stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really cool clip. I mean, I don't know how he's, but Adam Schefter had tweeted this like overnight. Yes, Oz the Mentalist was tremendous on Hard Knocks tonight with the Jets. It's just the opening act. Wait until his work with the Cowboys, Bengals, Packers, and Michigan appear this season on ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown.
It's next level. Huh?
Have you ever, like, I wouldn't say he's like a psychic or anything like that. Have you ever done, like, experienced or watched anybody do something like that?
No.
So I'll play the clip here.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of, so this was from Hard Knocks last night. So this is Oz, and his should we call it assistant or volunteer, is Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yes.
That's probably the best way to put it. So That's a dang goldfish. How did the deck of cards turn into a goldfish?
Wow, they're losing their mind.
Yeah.
I'm watching the video like almost synced up with how you're playing it. Yeah, that's
I mean,
this is like a hype video where they get a new, like a college team gets a new black snake jersey and they all lose their minds. Like, wow. Like that's really wild.
Interesting team building strategies that these NFL teams are doing. I think Seattle was one of the first ones because I remember last year, I think it was like because DK Metcalf was going nuts or something. I think it was like last year or something like that. But yeah,
I put it this way: if NFL teams are gonna bring in people who they think will give them some sort of competitive advantage, there's way too much money.
Well, everybody's apparently using him, so
so I guess they're all right. I know it's like that whole like if we allow someone to see our lips for like 0.3 seconds, that's gonna be okay, fine. Everyone's doing the same thing. But there's got to be something to it. It's got to be.
Have you ever gone to like a psychic or anything like this before?
Not like individually. Like I've been to, like at college. Hey, so and so hypnotist is going to come around.
Hypnotist, that was the other one.
I've plenty of those. Like I've never been hypnotized. I don't think I could. I'm so self-aware, so self-conscious. Like I've tried meditating and I still do. It's really tough. Just my brain is one of those types that is constantly thinking of stuff. So it's very tough to like get in the zone.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if I could be, but I've watched it happen. Obviously it works because
so it works.
It does. I mean, I've seen it happen.
Okay.
So yes, I think it depends on what your brain's doing at any given moment.
Huh.
There are wacky folks like me that it's going to be a big challenge, but for a lot of folks, no. So now that's hypnotism. Then there's also other forms of magic. By the way,
parlor tricks, right?
So say what?
It's just parlor tricks, right?
It is. Are you the type that is drawn to and wants to see like here's how the magic tricks really work?
I want to know how Aaron Rodgers ended up with a deck of cards and all of a sudden it turned into a goldfish and like two in a glass case or something. Yes, I want to know.
Okay, see, like part of me does, and then part of me is like, is that going to ruin like all of magic going forward? Because there's
I don't care if it ruins magic. I want to know how the guy did it. So I'm of that mindset. I got to know how something works. I have to know how something works. Otherwise, it bugs me.
And how
in any day life.
How will this affect Aaron Rodgers' preparation for week 1? He's being distracted by a goldfish. Because of this, now his contract, and I'm trying to be a talking head.
Well, no, I mean, if you want to be the talking head, it could be that he had another calf issue yesterday at practice.
And now he's being bothered by a goldfish. Calves and goldfish, we need to take this seriously. This is the NFL. Okay, sorry. Just to get that out there.
65%. That's all we care. So, but no, I'm like, I was just like, this is like all over the place right now with these NFL teams. And he's on Barstool and all that. So I'm curious if anybody's ever like did this or like gone to a psychic or something like this. Like, how do they do this?
I mean, it's fascinating. I am back to the Schefter tweet. He said the Packers, wait until that appears on Sunday NFL Countdown in college. Well, referencing the Wolverines. So, by the way, that makes me think this somehow has to involve Jim Harbaugh, which
easily
I want to see. Like this could be hardcore entertaining. So what involving the Packers?
I don't know.
Are we gonna have like a comparable thing with Jordan Love? And now we can compare. How did Jordan Love react compared to Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah,
and just brace yourself for that. But that does make me interested. The Packers are apparently doing this.
Well, yeah, the last year one with DK Metcalf is the guy guessed his passcode on his cell phone. That was what it was. So,
So,
I don't know. Interesting.
So, okay, I'd be at the risk of analyzing magic too long because there goes an hour and a half of the show. So what does Did the magician like spend time like hanging out around earlier and like he just kind of glances over the passcode and files that away, and you can see the passcode get entered and then brings it back later on? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know.
I'm guessing.
I figured you'd be into all that stuff. So
Like I am not like hardcore, but I'm like, see, now I'm fascinated by this. Like, how is he doing this?
Yeah.
I
I
do
want to know
see-
how this like started as a team building thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
I'm
they're
just,
all excited around each other, but
is that just it? It's just everybody gets, I don't know. Anyways, we probably spent too much time on that anyways. So, but whatever. The correct answer for the Sports Illustrated cover was Eddie Matthews.
That's right.
Eddie Matthews.
Yes.
On the cover. County
never
Stadium.
an Eau Claire
So,
Brave, just a Milwaukee.
yes.
Sorry, folks.
You probably had people thinking Hank Aaron then after that.
Right. Yeah.
a
I'm
little
like,
bit.
but that's not what I meant. No.
No.
So it would have been an Eau Claire. Was he? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they were still the Bears at that point.
Yeah.
So that actually would not count.
No. But you probably had people thinking, oh, Eau Claire and then a Brave as he
Joe
talks about
Torre,
Hank Aaron, that, or yeah.
But he wasn't with the Braves in '54. So that
Right. So, but no,
54.
Eddie Matthews. I'm curious if anybody has the very first edition of that.
And
Not just the cover, but the actual magazine.
was mailed to you or
you-
picked it up on a newsstand,
Yeah.
and it's there.
Mm-hmm. Like it's in your man cave or something.
And okay, and one step further, does anyone have it, having not acquired it
Via an auction, eBay,
Right.
or anything like that.
Was it in your? Not that it had to be mailed to you. We're not asking for people who are like 69 plus years old. Well, really, I got to get in the mid 70s because if you're a 1-year-old, you have no memory of that. Does anyone have it like as a family heirloom, like your father, your grandfather, someone like that had it, and it's always been in your house, or when you moved, and that's it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you know or does anyone know someone like 1 degree of separation that has that?
Yeah. Like,
That would be a find.
I'd be curious if people still like collect covers of magazines or anything like that. Remember, I remember I had a couple even TV guides, because Favre was on there. Is that still a thing for people or not really?
Maybe not as much anymore. Like I used to keep a lot of like Time magazine, Sports Illustrated. Then at a certain point, you're like, wow, I got these boxes from subscriptions over the years, and I'm never going to look at these. And I winnowed them way down, like 99%. But a lot of it's because of the cover. And then you realize, so this big thick magazine, because they used to be thick, because they used to have actual content in there. I don't know that I'm ever going to read those. And of course, now everything's online anyway.
Well, part of me almost feels like everybody got burned by Favre, because I remember when in 08 when he retired first time, all those covers, the Sports Illustrated covers that came out, Sportsman of the Year covers, then the special edition Sports Illustrated stuff. I remember I was in college here, and I don't know if it was Books A Million at that time or was it Borders right before that. I
It
can't
was
remember.
Borders up to 2011, then BAM came in. They've been there ever since.
Okay, so it'd be Borders then.
Yeah.
But I remember going there to go get one. They had signs up saying a max of like 2 or something like that per person. But everybody had to get one. Everybody had to get multiple copies. It was just the other day. It was a couple weeks ago. I think it was my wife's uncle shot me a message asking me if I wanted those. He sent me a picture of any of them, and it was those. Like everybody. And now you don't see that anymore, right?
I don't know what the thing is, because cards ebb and flow. There'll be another flow. I'm not sure when that's going to be. Hey, remember when NFTs were a thing? It's not like a year ago. But so what's the next? I'm not sure what that is. Or is this going to be this whole Gen Z thing of let's go like really throwback retro, like the whole, like flip phones are making comebacks, stuff like that. Cassettes are making comebacks. So
Cassettes are making comebacks?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
So does that mean VHSs are going to be making comebacks here soon?
Gosh, I hadn't thought of that. I think maybe to a slight degree.
Like how some artists release stuff on vinyl. Maybe some movies come out on VHS.
Well, see now that
are we
would
going to
be
get blockbusters back?
See, Wow. Then Blockbuster that one Blockbuster store. See, it's a good thing Blockbuster didn't 100% disappear. They could build off of that.
Friday nights are going to be better now for kids because you can go back to the movie store and rent a movie.
I kind of like to do that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I'm at that age now too, where I wish we were still doing stuff like that.
Let's go do that. But VHS would be the equivalent of audio cassettes. I have to say audio cassettes to differentiate. Because, I mean, vinyl is a legitimate part of the music industry again. It's not like 10 years ago, you're like, oh my gosh, someone's actually going to do vinyl. No, vinyl is totally legit. You can almost get a #1 album off of vinyl. Now, that says something more about album sales nowadays. But the cassettes are the quirky thing. But it's really more of a merch thing. I don't think too many people are listening to cassettes because they love the fidelity of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think how many cassettes did you buy to listen? Or was that just like
no, I had a couple. The one that I listened to the most, okay, I'm not afraid to embarrass myself. It was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at one time did a concert apparently. And I had the video, but it also came with a cassette, and I listened to that cassette all the time.
The live concert?
Yes.
Hey, we're playing live music.
There was a song
this weekend
called here. I'll
You're
see if
gonna
I can-
YouTube
I'll
this.
play it here. It was called Walk. Yeah, they were in costumes and singing and all. It was a turtles thing coming out of their shells. Yeah, that was the theme throughout that whole cassette. So
Wow. Just wow.
straight up 90s though, right?
That sounds 80s
Oh, but
actually.
I would just say
with that bass,
you should see their costumes, what they were wearing. I can still picture it.
oh,
So
I can only imagine.
yeah.
Wow. No, that because cassette, I had a bunch of cassettes because that was more of like an early 90s thing. And those back when they were still a big deal before like Discmans became a thing, really became a thing. Fidelity was not that great. Like for the time, yes. Now, no. It's kind of like but that's like video cassettes. Like the fidelity just isn't approaching DVDs or what you can get on YouTube nowadays. So when artists sell cassettes, it's really more of a merch thing. But then people will buy that because then you can have a physical product. A lot of them do that same with vinyl. A lot of people buy vinyl not to play it, just so that they can put they can say, hey, I bought a Taylor Swift vinyl. They're never going to play it on a record player. But cassettes I keep looking at the numbers all the time, and it is a growth area.
Gotcha.
I'm serious. So VHS may not be far behind.
All right. We got to take a quick break. We ran a little long there, but coming up, we'll ask the question again. Which one would you be more confident in happening? Badger football winning the Big Ten championship this year in Indy against Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, or whoever it may be, or the Packers winning the NFC North? The poll is getting a little bit tighter.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Carpet City Flooring Center did it again, people. Some of the magic that they are able to do is pretty impressive. So, quick backstory. We had a couple of bedrooms that needed some new carpet pretty badly. We went to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire, and they helped us pick an awesome looking and feeling carpet. And a couple weeks later, installed the new carpet in our rooms. Now the bedrooms in our house look and feel completely different. In a good way. The instant you walk into these rooms, you are in a better mood. My 6-year-old is even spending more time in his room because of the carpet. He tells everyone he has a brand new bedroom now. So if you are in the need of a new floor for your home or office, why would you look anywhere else besides Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire? Trick question. You shouldn't be. So go visit our good friends Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire. The team at Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire will help you find that new floor that looks good in your home and works perfect within your budget.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Have you always dreamed of building a new home? Maybe you've already found the perfect home and are ready to talk financing. Whether you want to buy, build, or even remodel, Dairy State Bank offers conventional mortgages as well as FHA, USDA, and VA loans. Visit the online mortgage center at dairystatebank.com. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Dairy State Bank.
Today's job market is full of demand for skilled trade workers. Electricians, welders, mechanics, these and other trades are the backbone of every community. They're also a huge part in making sure the Army National Guard is always fulfilling its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. With options from plumber to helicopter mechanic and everything in between, soldiers are able to select the trades that best fit their lives. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
He's smart, informed, entertaining, and he knows his sports. In other words, he's the kind of guy I'd like to settle down with in a small, cozy cabin in the woods. That is, if he was a woman with a case of cold ones. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Back for round 7. It's Careers and Beers going on tomorrow, August 17th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Brewing Project. Careers and Beers is a job fair and a happy hour brought to you by Midwest Family Eau Claire. Sick of those stuffy and uncomfortable job fairs? Careers and Beers is the answer, featuring local employers in a casual atmosphere. Free to attend. You know what? You'll even get a free brew on the house. So check it out. You can visit aroundthe715.com for more details. Register early and save some time at the event. Again, tomorrow, 4 p.m., 6 p.m., Brewing Project in Eau Claire. All right, quick updates on the poll question we got out here. It's getting a little bit closer. If you were a betting person, what's more likely to happen? Badger football with the new era of Luke Fickell coming in, winning the Big Ten championship. And we're talking the actual Big Ten championship game, or Packers winning the NFC North. Started off, Packers running away with it, and now it's gotten a little bit tighter. Still, Packers edging it out 55% going with the green and gold. What would you vote for, Lucas?
I just did, actually, and I voted for the Packers.
All right.
I think it's a far easier path. You don't have the Ohio State and Michigan with whatever games Harbaugh is going to miss.
He's not going to miss any now, and he's coaching all of them now, apparently. So
really,
which because I guess the report is that they, like, the NCAA didn't agree to what they. So it's like, oh, okay.
So
last year at Michigan, he'll be in the NFL next year. Then
so he gets the whole thing out.
Yeah, he gets the whole thing now.
I mean, I knew that there was that like it was unsettled. Like, so are they is it gonna enhance it, or do they just not want him to miss the cupcake part of the schedule because that's so convenient?
Nope, he's going to be coaching all year because potential discipline would come for 2024.
Oh,
so that's why it's like, oh, okay, he'll be in the NFL then. So
great. Cool. Well, regardless, there's still a little uncertainty with Wisconsin, but then there's a little uncertainty with Jordan Love too. I just think that there's not the obvious team in the in the NFC North where, like, they're not getting past so and so. They could win. I'm not picking them to win the division, but I am picking them to make the playoffs. I think there's probably maybe I'll end up changing my mind. Maybe I'm going to have the Packers winning the division because I do think they're probably gonna make the playoffs.
Ooh.
I mean, I've said that all along, and I don't.
Yeah.
Hey, I've always thought this offseason, and there's really nothing that's making me change it yet. An injury would change it.
Well, let me ask you the question I asked yesterday, then, Lucas. Based off everything we've seen and now heard from, Dan Orlovsky, Bakhtiari, Matt Schneidman about Jordan Love, you more optimistic about him?
Slightly. I haven't seen enough, but I'm gonna hold off on more Jordan Love commentary until we get to these stock
risers.
Yeah.
Okay. Just gave that away.
Yeah, it totally is. Tune in at 8:10 to find out what I really meant. I think this team is going to be more stable than a lot of prognosticators think. I think part of that's also because I think the Lions are being overblown some. I don't know. I think the Bears will probably be better. The Vikings will have a worse record than last year, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they're actually maybe a little more of a how do I say it, a complete team with more losses. I mean, some of that helps when you don't have Ed Donatel stubbornly holding to the shell defense, knowing full well you're going to lose games, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, cool. That's why I still think there's I would put a stronger bet if I were a betting person on. And I've said this before, so I actually would put down fake money right now on the NFC North being 10-7, 9-8, 8-9, 7-10.
I don't think right now, if I were to make a pick, I don't think an NFC North team is going to have double-digit wins.
Really? So 9-8, 9-8, 8-9, and then 7-10.
I feel like for some reason the NFC North is going to be that division this year.
It wouldn't surprise me if that is. Well, okay, so what would be the other one? Now, we don't know. There could be flukes, but what's going to be is there going to be another potential sub like the Buccaneers? By the way, did that turn into anything? That proposal, it sure looked like there was momentum to make sure that a division winner that has a sub 500 record would have to go on the road.
Yeah.
And then it went all quiet.
Yeah, it kind of did go quiet, didn't it? So
yeah, like what? So we're going to do this again?
Yeah.
We're all good with.
Apparently.
Why? Like that doesn't make.
Takes away the importance of winning a division championship.
Yeah, so we can have bad teams and get advantage in the play. Gosh, folks, figure that. Well, the thing is, I didn't hear a reason against it. Like it seemed to be all positive. Like, yes, this is a good idea. There wasn't really any pushback, and then it just vanished. That was. I'm gonna do some Googling on this. That seems strange. But okay, so anyway, I mean, is it gonna be the AFC South again?
Are you saying like another double
potential sub 500 or a 9-8 winning?
I mean, the AFC South is probably the easy pick. Jaguars, I mean, I'm picking them to win. I'll just do that one. But I could see them being a 9-8 team. Maybe the NFC South too. With who would you pick? Saints to come out of there?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay. I mean, is it going to be Trask or Kyle or Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
Carolina, Atlanta. I know some people are kind of high on this year, but are they a 10-win team? I don't know if they're a 10-win team.
I could see Carolina since they were like one of those better than their record indicated kind of teams. And massive if, Bryce Young performs
Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's with Carolina.
So, I'm talking about the Panthers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Atlanta.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, if they were an under, like their metrics were pretty decent. You could see where the Panthers could have been. I mean, they had to maybe get 3 other breaks and not have Sam Darnold as quarterback. But you could see where they could actually be a pretty decent team last year. So if that progresses a little further, and again, there's that like I said, the Young question. That's where I could see.
Well, Atlanta was the team. I mean, they weren't out of it for the longest time, and I mean, you can make the case that maybe they got a little bit better, now they don't.
They hung around, and I'm not ready to be all out on Smith as a coach.
Oh gosh, no.
No, I mean there were a lot of times people would rip on him, and I understood it, but I feel like there was more he was working against. I think it can still be a good.
What's the division in football right now that's the easiest to pick a winner? Like it's a lock already.
Quick reminding myself of all.
AFC West with the Chiefs. You got the Broncos. You got the Raiders. Chargers in there.
The Chargers are the one that makes me wonder.
To me, it's the NFC West with the 49ers. You got Seattle. I'm not buying Geno Smith stock yet. Rams, Cardinals. By the way, I don't know if anybody was listening to the DA show before we were on. Apparently, some dude called in. Apparently, Larry Fitzgerald signed a contract with the Cardinals. Coming back, and Colt McCoy is going to lead them to a 5-2 start.
Cool. Wow. Well, that's over. Good. You got
DA producer just went off on him. Like, be awake before you call in and just going. I'm listening. I'm like, they got to cut him off.
Colt McCoy.
They got to cut him off, and they just kept going with it.
Well,
So,
at a certain point, you're just like, let it
yeah.
go.
I guess it was breaking news. Larry Fitzgerald, after how many years out, is coming back to the Cardinals. Almost 40 years old. So
It's like the scene in Animal House.
It's just like I was listening. I'm like, oh, cut him off.
At some point,
Cut
the
him
Germans
off.
are going to bomb Pearl Harbor
Yeah.
or whatever that was.
Was it over when the Germans
bombed
bombed Pearl Harbor?
No.
So
Just let him keep going.
yeah.
I think you might be right. It might be the 49ers, but considering how they always seem to have all these injuries, besides the quarterback, that's what we all talk about. That team seems to be injury riddled.
That team is so lucky though too, because how many teams would give up so much draft capital to go get a quarterback in the draft? Whatever they did for Trey Lance, and he gets hurt, then their backup gets hurt, and that guy drafted last in the draft is their new starter. Other teams would have been in the tank for years because they mortgaged so many picks and trades. Like if the 49ers stunk right now, John Lynch's job would be called for. Kyle Shanahan his job would be called for. But because they continue to win, because they did so well in other areas of their team, nobody talks about how bad that trade looks now for the 49ers. Remember, we all thought, oh, they're going to trade up and get Mac Jones. The move was for Mac Jones. Then it's like, why would you move all that way up there for Mac Jones? It's got to be, Trey Lance or something. And now it's like, yeah, if the 49ers stunk, we'd be talking more about how god-awful that trade was. But they got lucky.
They're a resilient organization. They keep making NFC championship games.
I'm already waiting for 10 years down the line, the next general manager to say, yeah, we actually have Brock Purdy as a second-round grade.
Revisionist history is a wonderful thing. Are the 49ers of the past half decade or so, are they the team of the NFC? I'm getting a little hot take.
So last 5 years?
5-ish years? Are they the team overall? Are they one of the first teams you think of when it comes to NFC quality? Consistently.
I think consistency is probably the key in there.
Because they usually have a good record. They oftentimes make NFC championship games, which is kind of my metric. If you can keep getting there, that's something's going right. Of course, I know the Packers kept going there and not getting
Rams would have been a team if it wasn't for last year.
And now I wonder, how much of a turnaround are they experiencing? Are they still mining the depths a little bit, knowing they have a plan? But
could have said the Saints too before last year.
Yeah, gosh, it's the Saints and the Chargers are the ultimate, they're always good, but they never do anything in the playoffs teams.
Except for 1 year.
Right.
Or they should have went the other year too. Just saying.
Well, yeah. So,
Call it pass interference once in a while, maybe.
Gosh, I'm thinking of the orange thrown in the 75 game and pass interference now. The Vikings playoff stuff. But think about it. The Saints probably should have made more. The Saints probably should have made more NFC championship games.
Oh, we're going to go back to this whole Packers and Saints and Mike McCarthy and Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees stuff now.
Well, okay. To the point about the Rams. So you referenced the 2018 NFC championship game, that infamous game.
Mm-hmm.
So if that pass interference is not called, then do we consider the Rams to be one of the better teams of the past 5, 6-ish years? Because I know they didn't do anything in that Super Bowl. Offensively was a dud.
Yeah.
But does that change that outlook there and the Saints go on to the Super Bowl?
So you're saying if there was a call made?
Yes, if that pass interference call is rightfully called, it's not a hot take to say that. But if they actually do that, are we putting the Rams in that discussion?
I still say the Rams probably would have made a trade for like a Matthew Stafford in that. I think they would have still gone for it. Gone for it.
Well, and using my metric of NFC Championship games, the Rams were there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they lost, they still are there. The 49ers didn't win every game they got to. They lost to the Rams in the year the Rams went on to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, yeah, it's not every single year does that happen. And last year, of course, they lost to the Eagles, but then they beat the Packers several years ago. So, but the Saints are an interesting one. Maybe the Saints are the best team of the past. Is it the Saints and the Packers? Or are they the best of the last? And you have to count out 2017.
Well, you say the last 5 years too. I mean, okay, there's a lot of teams we're kind of taken away off this list based off last year, but I mean, wasn't that long ago too. The 49ers weren't in the postseason. They missed out.
Yeah.
But, Green Bay, couple NFC Championship game appearances.
Yeah. And I mean, if you go back a whole decade's worth, if we're talking the 2010s, would it be because New Orleans was constantly competitive? Outside of 2 years, Green Bay was constantly competitive. I mean, are those two like the teams of the decade, even though throughout the course of that decade, there was all of one season, 2010 to 2019, that any of them actually made a Super Bowl? And that was the Packers at the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
Because who else would it have been from the NFC throughout? I mean, it's not
Giants a couple times.
But those were off
right. They're
years. Yep. Not Washington, not Dallas. Philly had their moments. I guess you could say them. I wouldn't say Carolina. I don't think Atlanta was kind of sort of there. Not Tampa. Minnesota was way up and down. Not the Bears, not the Lions. Maybe the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Seahawks.
It's not the Cardinals. And then we're kind of back to where we are. So I mean, weird to say, but I think you could make a case that the Packers, Saints, and Seahawks defined 2010's NFC football.
I would agree with that. I don't think that's a hot take.
And yet, of those three teams, there are 2 Super Bowl championships. And they defined the NFC for the decade.
Right, because technically, yeah, Saints.
And I'm counting 2010 to 2019.
Okay.
2 championships out of those 3 that were basically the cream of the crop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I just realized that's remarkable.
And how much, the other factor in that too is Patriots, every time they flip and went, they won more times than not.
Yeah. The teams that define the AFC seem to have more success.
Yeah. I mean, you can name it's Patriots, it's Broncos when Peyton was there, right? And when he got over there to Denver.
Yeah.
And Steelers throwing a little Baltimore. The Steelers went.
Yeah, because the Chiefs were a little too.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Late.
They were. Yeah, towards. We're talking straight up 10s. Here.
Right.
So yeah, it wouldn't be the Chiefs. Yeah, it's Patriots and Broncos and like.
Well, but even then, the Broncos in the last half of the decade were
right
not good.
Ravens and Steelers.
Probably. Because it wouldn't be the Raiders. It wouldn't be. I mean, again, the Chargers were always kind of there. They're like Atlanta, always sort of, yeah. Like not Cleveland, not Cincinnati.
No.
Tennessee would kind of be back and forth, but would you say they defined it?
No.
The Colts again, kind of there, but then post luck, not. I think you're right. I think that's who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Pats, and the Steelers and the Ravens probably are the most definitive ones for that decade.
Yeah.
And again, it's mainly the Patriots that ended up winning a lot.
Weird. All right, we got to take our final break here. Time's running out. Stock reports, we'll get to that coming up just past 8 o'clock. whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling. Play along with us. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
Hunters, let me ask you a question. In your gun cabinet, do you have a deer rifle that's been passed down throughout your family? Maybe from your dad, grandpa, or great-grandfather? I do. I've got an old 30-30 bolt action that's been passed down throughout the years. And it was my first deer rifle I used when I was 12 years old, and it will be my son's first deer rifle as well. Every deer rifle has a story to tell throughout the years. Stories about that big one you got and missed. So if you're looking for that new deer rifle to begin a new set of stories, let Tilden Gun help you write that new chapter in your deer hunting book. Whether you're looking for a new deer rifle for yourself so you can continue the tradition of passing along that older rifle to your young one, or looking for your first-time hunter's first deer rifle, Tilden Gun can help you. They did for me, and they will continue to help me write these stories in my deer hunting book. The added extra bonus about Tilden Gun, family-owned and operated, and the best deals in the Chippewa Valley. Just visit Tilden Gun today at 12427 90th Avenue in Chippewa Falls and visit tildengun.com.
The Shoe Doctor is known for quality footwear. Remember, the Shoe Doctor can keep your feet comfortable during all the different outdoor weather and activities here in the Chippewa Valley. Work boots, casual shoes, sandals, and more from brands you trust like Keen, Merrill, Chaco, and Dansko, and that's just to name a few. Located on Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire, you can also visit them online at shoedoctorfootwear.com. The Shoe Doctor, quality footwear for work, sport, and fun.
If Culligan isn't treating your home's water, you likely have water problems all around you, like hard-to-clean chalky residue on your shower, faucets, and bath, stains around your sink drains, spots on your dishes and glassware, plus dull, dried-out hair and skin, and problems you don't see, like scaly buildup in the water heater and pipes. But have no fear, you're in the clear with Culligan Products and Service. For all your residential and commercial water filtration needs,
visit CulliganH2O.com for your local Culligan water dealer.
You don't have to live in Britain to get what the New York Times calls the best of British telly. Stream the UK's most brilliant series only on BritBox. Unlock acclaimed favourites including Vera and Stonehouse, starring Succession's Matthew McFadden. Plus, don't miss upcoming original dramas like Archie, the story of Hollywood's greatest leading man, Cary Grant. Lose yourself in Britain's best entertainment, only on BritBox. Start a free trial at BritBox.com.
Stand by as we continue our dig for the truth and the toy at the bottom of the cereal box.
Oh, got it.
The Dan Kasper Show.
New floors are in for the man cave makeover, Lucas. All finished.
I saw the photos. Looks nice.
Yes. So now the decorating is the next project over there too. So, but big thanks, Carpet City Flooring Center. We got a little video that we're gonna be doing, or I'm gonna be making and such. But shout out to Ryan, the installer there, worked his butt off and such. But big thanks to Carpet City Flooring Center. You're looking to upgrade your flooring game as well. Look no further than Wisconsin's premier flooring store, Carpet City Flooring Center, right here in Eau Claire. They were helped Veronica and myself all the way from the beginning, selecting the style that would work because our floors were in pretty darn rough shape in the basement down there. So shout out to Jason and Aaron and the entire staff there. They helped us find the product that would actually work, and they even fixed up some of the other issues that were going on with the house. But you can check out some of the photos that we posted online, and that video will be coming here fairly soon here too. So, but we're excited now. Hudson and I were working on it quite a bit last night. So, although I've got to overrule some of Hudson's design choices. So, just saying. Sorry, kid, but
well,
he'll get there. He'll get there.
He's learning.
He's learning how to properly, outfit a man cave. So
right now it's a boy cave.
Yeah, right. So. But no, again, big thanks for all the help from Carpet City. When I say that they were fixing stuff that was wrong with it before, they went out of their way, and they can do the same thing for you too. So, all right, stock reports are due. Let's do it up. Whose stock is rising? Whose stock is falling? We'll make our picks coming up in just a couple minutes.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 newsroom, it's Morgan McCarthy with your news on Sports Talk 105.1.
Good morning. Well, here's what we're learning today. We start with an Eau Claire man being held on $2 million bond after police say he admitted to beating his wife to death. Prosecutors yesterday filed charges against 81-year-old John Berthold as police say he told them that he killed his wife for being a narcissist. Family members say they were getting divorced. Investigators say Berthold tried to kill himself after killing his wife, but the son found him before he could. Prosecutors saying Berthold told detectives he takes full responsibility for killing his wife. It was wheels down for Air Force One in Wisconsin yesterday. President Joe Biden talking about his economic accomplishments. This was during a stop at a clean energy plant in Milwaukee Tuesday.
According to Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, my plan is leading to a boom. They call a boom in manufacturing. And manufacturing investment, as you're seeing right here in this factory.
Showing you different sides so you can decide. Not everybody agrees. The chair of the state Republican Party cited high gas prices and saying Biden has failed Wisconsin families. If you look at the political calendar, the president's trip came a little more than a week before Republican presidential candidates take the stage to debate in Milwaukee. Going to Madison at our own state capitol and looking behind those doors, lawmakers today at work on some plans that would shrink how much land the state can hold for roads, sewers, or ditches. State Rep Dave Murphy behind this plan that would shrink Wisconsin's current 100-foot setback to just 50 feet. WisDOT says landowners must have 100 feet of open land next to highways. Murphy says that takes away usable land and value. He says the governor can give people back their land simply by signing his new plan. There's a warning about fake $100 bills in the Dells if you're headed that way for a little family trip here. Police just want you to know that there's counterfeit money circulating in the area. They were warning shops and restaurants to be on the lookout for bills that say motion picture or replica. And one more thing, counterfeit bills don't have a watermark, especially in the water capital of the world, right? And let's take a trip down the Midway. Wisconsin State Fair saw more than 1 million visitors this year. Looking at the numbers, fair managers say that they had a pretty good head count. This year's jumped by about 40,000 people, a 4% increase over last year's number. And there was a puff to the bottom line as well. 300,000 cream puffs left the pavilion. And as far as that giant slide, 100,000 wheeze on the way down. And howdy, neighbor. Friendly Mr. Rogers and his cardigans suggested that we should all be friendly neighbors. A new survey says, hey, that could actually make you happy.
According to Gallup, American adults who regularly greet more than one neighbor have better well-being than those who don't say hello or greet just one. Older Americans and those with higher incomes tend to greet their neighbors more often. On average, the poll says Americans report greeting 5 neighbors. Over a quarter say hello to 6 or more. I'm Mark Mayfield.
You know, that's weird. We were talking about just some kind of HR awards here. Who should get Employee of the Month? And Kasper kept writing my name down. He submitted it how many times?
6 or more.
For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Starting off much warmer this morning. However, we'll have breezy southwesterly winds that'll bring in more humidity, and dew points be hanging out in the low 60s. Meanwhile, temperatures climbing to the upper 80s. Later tonight, a cold front moves through, bringing showers and storms, some of which may carry a severe threat, with the primary threat being some damaging winds. Otherwise, cooling us off, but haze returns to the area tomorrow. Breezy once again with highs in the mid to upper 70s. I'm Sky 113 meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
You do anything to keep your vehicle happy with eBay Guaranteed Fit. The parts that fit are just a click away. Just look for the green check, ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Let me ask you something. Did you name your firstborn after a football player?
Hell yeah.
Did you spend your honeymoon going to a football game?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Do you spend most of your free time hanging out in your man cave?
Yes!
If you answered yes to all the above, then you, my friend, are a serious sports fan just like Dan.
Yes!
This is exactly where you belong. Sports talking and BSing is what we do best.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
So rise and grind, people, because the Dan Kasper Show is on the air.
You serious, Clark?
Right now.
Showtime! Woo!
Third and final hour kicking off right now on this Wednesday morning of August 16th. Appreciate you tuning in wherever, however you may be tuning in. We got some stock reports coming up here. Hey, good stock report could be the Eau Claire A's 15U baseball team. They got they're the 2 seed. They secured a spot in the championship bracket at the Babe Ruth World Series. So they'll be the 2 seed in the tournament and face the 3 seed from the national pool tomorrow evening. So keep it up, kids. Nice work.
Very good.
Yeah, very good.
Absolutely.
I think they got second best record. They've only lost 1 game so far over there. So keep it up. Keep it up, boys. Keep it up. I know we got the WBA, Wisconsin Baseball Association state finals coming up starting Friday. Going to be going on at Carson Park and Merchants Park over there too. So a lot of baseball still going on, even though we got high school football starting this Friday too. So Kevin, Stock Rising, saying Matt Arnold, newest rankings have the Brewers farm system as number 3 in all of baseball. Let's do some stock reports. You ready?
Yes.
You ready to do that?
Let's.
Okay.
Stock reports are due. Whose stock is up and rising and whose stock is going down?
All right, Lucas, since you kind of already teased it, who's your stock riser?
Jordan Love.
Okay.
I mean, it's early. I'm
just kidding. Sorry.
What? I really don't like doing anything too much in preseason for any sport because obviously, especially after one game and one highly publicized practice session, just what family night really is. So, but that's where you kind of make your stock judgments. I mean, isn't any fantasy football draft one massive stock investment?
Yeah.
In a theoretical sense and sometimes in a literal sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and you're basing that on past performance and to a certain degree, training camp performance and preseason performance. Okay. So in that regard, not that I would say Jordan Love should be your QB1, but there's enough to generally like. I mean, I know there were a couple throws that were like, but again, that's one game. Are we going to extrapolate that to an entire career?
Right.
Probably not a wise idea. I would say right now, is his stock up or down? I would say right now it's up. I also wouldn't necessarily, if he has a not so great game this weekend, be like, stock's down, bail. No,
right.
But I think there are enough other fundamentals to be like, I'd feel more comfortable with him long term, just based on the little bit we've seen. And also being in Wisconsin, we hear more, we know more in depth, and there's more of a robust way of saying his stock is going up.
Highest scoring offense in the preseason.
Wow.
Yeah.
My gosh, okay. It's like the 96 Packers all over again.
Break them up, bro.
Here we go.
Break them up. Can I toot my horn a little bit here for stock risers?
Sure.
My Lindsey Pipkins Memorial Watch List players. Carrington Valentine and Malik Heath. Had a good game on Friday night. Both of them did.
Wow, you're going to have a tough call. Who gets the honor?
You know what? If MVPs can be ties, so can Lindsey Pipkins Memorial Watch List. Honorable.
Okay. Now, is this going to turn into the Peter King thing where you're like insistent on like, I'm only going to have like one offensive player of the week, and then after about 2 months, there's like 8 offensive players of the week? Are we going to keep having doubles?
I'll max it out at 2. Okay. I'll max it out at 2.
Because I mean, this is an honor. Okay. Mm-hmm. People should put this on their Wikipedia pages. And I mean, we can't dilute this to the point where like anyone, like should I be able to do that? No. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure that it maxes at 2, ideally is 1. But we still have 2 more games to let this all play out.
I will say, though, if I had to narrow it down, I will say Carrington Valentine, stock riser. I believe he's already got a spot nailed down.
Really?
As a 7th round pick, he's already got a spot. He's already practicing with the 1s. He would have to like completely fall off in these next 2 games to not make that roster. Jair, Rasul, Keyshawn Nixon, Eric Stokes still is not activated off the pup. Carrington Valentine right now is their 4th. He's already secured a spot.
Nice. Is it going to be easier this year to predict who will ultimately make the final roster because we're not clouded? I'm kind of setting this up intentionally, narrowly, but we're not clouded by who does Aaron Rodgers like? Who does he trust?
Right.
And so we don't know who's all going to make the roster, and you get the surprise Jake Kumerow cuts, or quote unquote surprise Jake Kumerow cuts. Is it going to be easier, or is that just not a thing?
I was thinking about this the other day about thinking about 53-man roster projections, and at first I was like, oh, it might be kind of harder, younger guys and all that. But at the same breath, I was kind of going through it in my head, and I'm like, you know what? It might actually be kind of easy with some of those. The toughest one for me, I ultimately think, will be the safeties and how many they decide to keep, because Savage, we know they're going to keep. Dallin Levitt, they're going to keep strictly for special teams play. He plays safety, but he's got a spot locked because of special teams. He's not going to be a starter.
Right.
Rudy Ford's going to be on there too because of special teams. He originally got some starting snaps. Now he's not. It's Jonathan Owens. And then you got Tarvarius Moore, who was getting, that's 5. I like Anthony Johnson Jr. a lot. Maybe they can sneak him on the practice squad, but how many safeties do they keep? To me, that's going to be one of the hardest ones. And then you look at tight end, and I think that opened the door maybe for the Packers to potentially, with Tyler Davis's injury, we might see more of a prototypical fullback now in this offense.
Whoa.
Henry Pearson.
Oh, my gosh.
So there's a couple different ways to go. And the biggest one, I think, there's a couple, do they carry 2 running backs like they did last year and then utilize the practice squad call-up rules? Remember, you can activate one for game day for like 3 weeks. They did that last year a lot. If you remember, they initially only carried Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So could they do that again? Maybe. We'll see. If Emmanuel Wilson goes out there and runs like he did in game 1, they may not be able to afford to let him go and try to sneak him on the practice squad. And then it's, wide receivers you look at is like, they're all young. So how many do you keep? 5, 6? Where's that number at? I think it's probably 6, but, we'll see.
Have the options out there.
Yeah.
Wow, fullback for the Packers. I keep thinking of Brent Fullwood when I hear fullback.
Jeez, that's a name.
I know. It's been a while since fullbacks have been. I know that's going back to the 80s, but still, it's been a while.
Wow.
And yet the Vikings still always seem to have like a solid fullback. It's strange how some offenses, it's random. Some still thrive on fullbacks and a lot don't. Packers have been a don't for a while.
For a little bit, yeah, because it was William Henderson was there for a while. Then you had John Kuhn.
Right. So they have some, but it's not a common thing, and sometimes they have other ways they can thrive. Wow, that'd be wild.
Speaking of fullbacks, I was watching, it showed up on a feed of mine, the 98 Cowboys at Packers game in November.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just, it was Berman and TJ doing it was primetime,
Prime time.
Yeah, it was that highlight. I'm like, why do I always overlook that game when I think of memorable games? Because it was during deer season. It was the second day. I stayed home to watch that game because there was that narrative. Even Berman said it, the curse is broken. Packers Cowboys. It's like, finally the Cowboys are coming to Green Bay to play. And I still remember Deion's pick 6 and then the Packers just exploded in the second half. I remember watching that and staying home from deer hunting because we were so amped up for that game.
Wow.
The Packers dominated it.
I got to bring that one back up again.
Oh, I got it. You want it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I got it because I posted it up on Facebook the other day.
On the socials?
On the socials. Right? Okay. YouTube's loading right now. Got to do the...
At least it didn't get raped or throttled. If you're going from Twitter, depending on the site, and I noticed that this morning, if it's a particular site that Elon doesn't like, you get like 5 seconds to wait. Which I was wondering because I was clicking on something that was a link to Threads, and I was like, "Why is this taking forever?" And then I saw a tweet just after that. I was like, "Oh, I see," because it took the exact amount of time that it was predicted. So
I noticed I officially this morning can't access TweetDeck. So
yeah, there we go.
Great.
Good times, everybody.
All right, so it opens up with Packers fans burning an Emmitt Smith jersey in a burn barrel. So
yeah.
gosh, I miss this football. Dorsey Levens had himself a game. Okay. Okay, it's kind of freezing up here a little bit. But, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The pick six right before halftime. But I was like, I don't know why I don't remember that game. I always overlook it.
For some reason it's drawing a bit of a blank for me. I mean, I'll go watch the video, but it's probably not going to bring it up too much. I don't know. I was in my junior year of college. I had cable TV, so which that back then was a bit of a dicey proposition if you even had that access in your room, or if you had to go to like one of those like floor rooms that has collective social room or something. Maybe it's because that was the crazy Vikings season, so I was completely consumed by that because I remember the Vikings Cowboys game, the one with Randall Cunningham flashing the grin there and at the line of scrimmage. I don't remember that game. That is such gold, though. I mean, would it be the worst thing in the world if we just spent 3 hours of playing old NFL primetimes?
I mean, those names, Bernardo Harris, Dorsey Levens, all that stuff. It's like, oh.
Seriously, look at
there you go.
Oh my gosh. We could just play like 3 hours of NFL primetime Packer highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone really go? I mean, unless you're like a very anti-Berman, and there are some people that are, then fine. Would anyone really complain? And we're talking like going back to 87 up to, oh, sure, why not? Just pull in the current stuff. I know Berman's a little bit off nowadays, but still find that.
Because I remember, too, I grabbed markers. Like, we were so jacked up. I was putting a G on my face and all that for this game. Like,
wait, this was the
97.
Wait, no, was this 96?
It was.
Or was it 97?
It was 97.
Oh, yeah. Okay, oh, wait. Now I remember that game. Okay, because I initially heard 98, so that was completely throwing me off. Got a cough just a second.
Oh boy, don't choke up on it, man! Holy moly,
that was brutal.
Yeah,
you didn't hear that, folks, because well, you could have, but you would have been your days would have been ruined. I remember it now. Okay, I was thinking 98, 97. Yes, I remember that. That was not the 15-1 season, so that was not distracting. But I did not have cable TV in 97. I know that. But I remember that game, and I think I was rooting for the Packers in that one because I was so sick of the Cowboys. I was very anti-Cowboy by that point. I mean, remember, I was rooting for the Packers in the NFC Championship game by like 90.
Yeah, you are the worst Vikings fan of all time, I think.
Well,
you are the worst Vikings fan.
Because
you root for, I will never, ever. I had this discussion when I was in college when the Bears were in the Super Bowl with the Colts. One of my roommates is like, well, I'm probably going to go with the Bears because it's a division. I said, no, you don't. You do not do that.
Well, but see, now that's the whole...
Don't make excuses. You are the worst Vikings fan if you ever at one point cheered for the main rival of your team.
Oh, I can root for them up to a point.
No,
yeah,
you can't.
You can.
No, you can't.
With one exception. Okay. You can get, for strategic reasons, you can get them up to the Super Bowl, but you cannot root for them to win the Super Bowl.
You can't root for them at any point in time.
Well, yeah,
unless
you can
it has something to do with like, oh, well, the more games they win, the better draft pick we get, or some crap like that.
It's the freaking Cowboys.
I don't care. No, I would go for the Cowboys over the Vikings any day of the week.
Oh gosh, the Cowboys. Look. Remember, the Hail Mary.
I don't care. It's a division rival. You cannot at any point root for a division rival. Do I have to call you Marty Green Jr.?
Oh, no. You don't understand what the Hail Mary is.
I don't care.
Fans. You ask any Viking fan, I will bet you. You ask most. Okay. Ask Brandon.
Cool.
Ask
Fail
Brandon.
Mary. Fail Mary. Yeah. Seattle, Minnesota. I cheer over Seattle over Minnesota.
Okay, but
you do not at any point cheer for your main rival.
Again, to a point. You can if there's some other reason you despise.
Why
some
don't
other
you?
team.
But you are also on record for saying if you could do it all over again, you'd be a Packers
I
fan.
would. Yeah.
So
totally.
why don't you just rip the Band-Aid off and become a Packers fan right here, right now?
Been loyal for too long.
It don't matter. You can change
Can't
your
do it.
loyalty. People do it every single day, every minute of the day.
They're not loyal.
I trust your loyalty though too. If you're rooting for rivals, you're wavering here, Lucas.
Except
come on, your wife is a Packers fan. Your wife is a Packers fan.
She is. Soft.
What's
Packers fan, but she
your
is.
daughter going to grow up to be? Packers fan. We know this. So why don't we just let's do it now, Luke. For everybody listening right now, I'll baptize you. I'll go get some water.
I was thinking this is like a baptism.
I think let's just pull the Band-Aid off. You've been to more Packers games than Vikings games, right?
I have.
Okay,
That's
okay.
also because I've hosted.
You've still been there. You still
true.
been there.
Technicalities.
Luke, come on.
You're trying to pull me over.
You can do it. Think about it.
You're
For the
trying-
good of your family. For the good of your family. So you don't have this internal struggle anymore. Come on. You know you want to. You know you secretly want to. You've admitted this.
Yeah.
You have admitted this.
It's in my blood. I can't do it.
It's not
I
in your
can't do
blood. Your dad was a Packers fan.
Yeah, I know, but my mom's
So it's
a
not in your
Vikings
blood.
fan. It's I'm 50-50.
Well, your wife should be the tiebreaker, and she's a soft Packers fan. So there you go.
Yeah, but what if my daughter ends up as a Vikings fan?
Won't happen if we're around.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Like she's going to be walking down the hallways, just walking on down, holding her unicorn. And you're going to be like flashing like G-Force things at her. Oh gosh. She's going to end up a G-Force fan.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be the worst. She's going to have can I have my G-Force flag? No, you can't have a G-Force flag. That thing sucks.
G-Force isn't around anymore. We don't have to worry about that. It's not getting resurrected.
I know it still burns me though. This
it's-
is so stupid. I'm sorry. Ugh.
You can do it, Luke. Think about it. Just meditate on it.
Remember, I can't meditate because my brain runs too fast.
Then maybe you need to go into a little bit of darkness retreats and really get away. And I think
if you can book me
it
around.
sounds like to me you have some internal struggles going on.
Oh, I do. It doesn't
and
help.
I think my professional opinion here, your internal struggles,
Dr. Kasper,
would be alleviated if you would just pull off that Band-Aid and cross over, see the light.
Yeah. Can you book me a round trip flight to Oregon?
I mean, I'll take you to the Shawamigan National Forest and put you in a bear den or something like that, or Nicolay, somewhere around there.
Do you still deliver like meals through a door?
No, this is a Wisconsin version. You live off the land.
Well, look, I'm the glamping type. I'm not doing that.
Pack a lunch. You're going camping.
Well,
okay. You're going camping.
Okay, but it has to be not in mosquito season.
Oh,
mosquitoes
good
suck.
Lord. Bring a can of off for crying
Look,
out loud. Get a thermocell. You'll be fine.
This is tough. I'm a fan of a team that plays their games in a freaking dome.
But to be fair, you also went to that really cold game and saw
did.
your kicker shank a chip shot. So
I did. See, this is what makes this this is like Facebook relationships. It's complicated. If I could put that on Facebook, your fandom, I'd be like, it's complicated.
I think you secretly, deep down, you want this. You want this, Luke.
Wow, this is getting deep.
You want it.
It's like an intervention.
Mm-hmm. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission from God.
You're on a mission from God?
Yep. Trying to do my best Dan Aykroyd blues.
Side note, I was seeing a reference this morning to the interstate in Milwaukee. They're pondering
How the heck did it transition to that?
Oh, it did. Look, I'm the master of totally out of the blue segues. About an hour ago, someone or I saw in my For You feed, we were talking about, I think it's 794, whatever the interstate is that goes right by downtown Milwaukee, where it's like 20 lanes of traffic. It's a mess.
It's always a mess down there.
Right. And they're talking about taking the part that's right by the Summerfest grounds and getting rid of that and turning it back and reconnecting the core downtown to the river and Summerfest and that area, try to rebuild the community. And as someone in the tweets responding saying they should just rebuild or cut off the highway so they can still have the Blues Brothers ramp. because that's where it was. For those that don't know, that's where it was filmed. Because they didn't.
I did not know that. Actually,
they did not. That was part of that whole interstate, and they didn't finish it for like it was. I think it was actually the bridge to nowhere, and they didn't finish it for like 10 years or something like that. And so they filmed that scene where that goes wee. It was filmed in Milwaukee.
Interesting.
Yeah, the more you know.
Mark is saying that you need to go to a fortune teller so you can see the light, Luke.
But what if the fortune teller makes me a Cardinals fan?
As in, like an Arizona Cardinals
Yeah,
fan?
like what? I mean, then that's bad.
Let's be realistic here, Lucas. Okay, nobody is an Arizona Cardinals fan besides the guy who called in the DA show early this morning. That's
good point.
And also that I don't know if he was a Cardinals fan, to be honest with you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. Let's take this one step worse. What if that fortune teller somehow turns me into a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Here's the thing. I would love to know if somebody actually converted. Did they convert from, like a Vikings fan to a Packers fan or a Cubs fan to a Cardinals fan?
I think
I want to know if somebody out there legitimately convert. Not like, well, I was 4 and I liked the Bears, and then later on I grew up. That don't count because you didn't understand what was going on when you were 4 years old.
I think, but it could be more like the doesn't count. I think John Murphy converted because he's from Red Wing. I think he grew up a Vikings fan, but then because he's been in Wisconsin for the bulk of his professional career, which goes back now 4+ decades, he converted to being a Packers fan. I think you'll have to ask him.
I still think he's a Vikings fan.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
I've given him a hard time on that too.
I have never gotten that vibe off.
Oh,
of him.
he hides it, but I've gotten that vibe. Oh yes.
Because I know his close friend who occasionally helps out at radio station events is like, I mean, you think I'm a diehard Minnesota fan?
No, I don't think you're a diehard. I think you have that internal struggle going on in you that you're looking for a way out.
I kind of am.
See?
Well, I kind of am. That's the thing because
we're
they
digging deeper.
Because they keep screwing stuff up. That's the problem. If they'd won one Super Bowl, this would have been way easier.
Go tell that to some Browns fans and Lions fans, man. I mean,
At
come on.
least they've won a title.
Oh, okay. Majority weren't around.
Well, I mean that's true, but they count as titles. They do.
Come on, Luke.
I mean, it's like title time. Okay, well, let's not get into the whole thing of like, well, the 30s Packers titles or 20s Packers titles don't count because no one's still alive who was around for.
What if we made you like go through the whole experience? I'll get a hold of my peeps over in Green Bay. We'll get you set up with tours and that behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, I've done behind the scenes.
Well,
tours.
I'm talking way behind the scenes stuff.
How far behind the scenes?
I can't tell you. I'd get arrested. I don't know if that's true.
I was like, what have you seen over there?
Well, we'll come on. You want to do this.
I mean, of course
I think you need to take a year. Just take a break from Vikings and try cheering for the Packers and see how it feels.
See, here's the problem.
No, there's not a problem.
Oh, no, there is a problem.
You keep telling yourself there's a problem.
Oh,
this is psychology right now. It's psychology 101.
It is. But
Stop telling yourself there's a problem.
That
there's
is
never
the year.
A problem.
That is the year the Vikings win the Super Bowl, the year that I take it off.
Well,
and
then
I would regret it the rest of my life.
No, you wouldn't, because it's not going to happen. You know that's never going to happen during your lifetime.
Oh, but you know what would probably happen, though? Packers would have some really painful loss in the playoffs the year that.
Well, then you'd be used to it.
I don't want it again.
Come on.
That's the thing. I'm trying to avoid
You
that.
are doing the biggest. You got to set your mind free. See how much being a Vikings fan has just tantalized and like destroyed your mindset right now? Release, Lucas. Release. Are you there?
I'm trying to release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It ain't working. I'm
try
working
to
on the release.
meditate.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Does that help you?
That knocked me back to life.
No,
Sorry,
no.
I'm out.
Oh, I
I'm
could
out.
play G-Force if you really want.
No. Well, then I'm definitely out.
No.
Dude,
The horn is more annoying than that. That is the most annoying sound in the world. All I think about is Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh, I had a Dumb and Dumber reference yesterday. What's the most annoying sound in the world? Or whatever that was. I don't know why that popped in my mind last
I
night.
think I can get you to turn. I really do. You give me a little bit of an opening like you have multiple times, this is going to happen.
They're a little, yeah. And okay, I'm totally walking into this. I bought the Packer yearbook.
See, you do that every year.
I've done
you
it
do
every
that
since
every
1985.
year.
And
that's
now
why you are the worst Vikings fan
and yes,
ever.
And yes, I did buy it from the pro shop, from the
you
mail.
Support
they
the team.
I kind of regretted
financially.
I kind of regretted the extra $7.95 in shipping and handling.
That's the downer of the pro shop. Yep.
Yeah. But it's not in the stores. Okay, you watch. It'll probably be in one of the grocery stores next week. Be like, what? This year you do?
Yeah.
Because last year, I don't think it ever got in any of the stores around here. It used to be. That's why I would always just buy it in the stores. And apparently the Packers don't care about yearbooks in Western Wisconsin. If you want to see that territory to the Vikings.
How many other people out there would hear from another person who is a Vikings fan say, but I buy the Packers yearbook every year?
I know. I'm probably unique.
You're not unique. You're the worst Vikings fan.
That's unique. That's the thing. Unique means literally there is no. That's the definition of unique. Side note, I got this from my dad. He would, and I've stuck with this. There is no such thing as very unique, mostly unique, kind of. No, you are unique. Unique means literally there is nothing other than you can't qualify unique. Unique is unique.
Luke, imagine 5 years from now, your daughter, your lovely daughter, comes up to you and says, Daddy, why aren't you a Packers fan like the rest of us?
Because I'm unique.
But Daddy, won't you be a Packers fan for me?
Oh boy, see, you're channeling that. That's a tough one. I mean,
I'm gonna get you.
I mean, if it's a game at the end of the season when they're playing the Jaguars, where a win will give them a worse draft position, sure, yeah. She won't be knowledgeable enough in football in 5 years to figure out why that's actually a good thing for the Vikings.
Well, it's a good thing that I'll be around for her so I can help guide her.
Dang it. Yeah, you will. Son of a. Yeah.
We will do this.
Yeah.
You provided some openings here, Luke.
Okay, well, we're definitely going to have the Brandenburg counter at some point.
See, Brandon can hold down more. I can't convert Brandon. I can.
You could. I
see,
think the potential is there. The potential is like 1%. But see, now the easiest thing would have been if the legislature hadn't built US Bank Stadium and they moved. That would have been so easy.
You would have converted to a Packers fan?
I think there's a better chance I would have given up on football. It would have been too painful. But I probably would have, because I'm not going to root for the Vikings if they're in Los Angeles. That's traitor stuff. No, never. And then I probably would have.
So that's why you're never a Lakers fan.
Well, see, now this gets weird. I liked the Lakers when they started when I was a kid because I didn't understand the whole moving concept. I was like, oh, they used to be in Minnesota. That's cool. In retrospect, I'm like, really? I thought that? No, but then after a few years of fandom, and then, of course, the whole North Stars thing happened. I know, that's strange. Like, I was kind of sort of a Lakers-ish, not a fan, but I kind of liked them, but I was also 7. So, like, I mean, your fandom back when you're 7 is skewed. Remember, I like the Dolphins because they have aquamarine. Still like the aquamarine, but I like them a little extra because of their color. But I was 7.
Gotcha.
We have weird, Hudson and LeBron. Is he still going to have his LeBron opinion? Is he going to go back to that when he's 22?
Yeah, what did, because we were setting up the man cave yesterday, and he's got a LeBron and a Bugs Bunny Funko Pop from Space Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And because Bugs Bunny, I have not watched the movie, so I don't know if there's a connection with it, but Bugs Bunny's wearing a Batman costume and LeBron's wearing a Robin costume. And he asked why LeBron's not wearing the Batman one, and my instant response was because Bugs Bunny's better than LeBron.
Wow.
And then that started another argument. So there we go. But
before we completely derail this, which you pretty much already have, and I have yet to get to my stock faller, if the one person who might actually be able to do the trick, good luck getting this person, probably have to be in person, Les Steckel.
Les Steckel?
Les Steckel.
Okay.
1984 Vikings head coach, the 3-13 season. Was coach of that Packers game, the one that made me a Vikings fan because the Vikings sucked so bad, and I felt bad for them, and that started it. If Bud Grant is coach that year, and the Vikings aren't getting blown out, which they wouldn't have been blown out, may not have won the game, they wouldn't have been blown out, I think this all goes different. I'm probably a Packer fan to this day, but no, Les Steckel was the
Okay.
coach. He's still alive. If you can bring him here to this studio, well, either of these studios.
What if I conjured the spirit of Johnny Blood?
Well, I mean, that
tugs at the heartstrings a little bit.
Well, actually, I would be more. I think I just sit back. If you conjure the spirit of Johnny Blood, there's a whole lot more interesting going on than converting me to a Packer fan. Dan Kasper conjuring the spirit of Johnny Blood. Do you realize how your life changes?
Who says I haven't already?
Well, it gets way more interesting. way more interesting.
All right.
Trains is what I'm looking at.
Okay.
You, Dan Kasper, on a train.
I'm feeling confident we can get you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling confident.
You got some
so.
work to do.
You open that up. I'm going to put some self-doubt in your mind, and we're going to get this. We're going to get this.
Challenge accepted.
By the way, apparently that mind dude, whatever, Oz, predicted the Jets to beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl in the Hard Knocks episode.
Oh, really?
31-21. That's putting your career on the line a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, are you going to bring him over?
No, but then Adam Schefter doubled down because Peter Schrager tweeted a picture of that, and Adam Schefter doubled down just now. Wait till you see what he does with the Cowboys, Bengals, Packers, and Michigan.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, Shefty, dude, don't let us down on this. This better be good when it gets the countdown. You can't. This better be good because he keeps piping this thing up. No, so
this might be the first time I've watched NFL Countdown.
I don't watch pregames
ever.
I don't watch pregames. I love football, but I don't watch pregames.
With their 45 people on set at any given moment.
If I know there's a good like interview or story, I'll watch it. But it's not appointment viewing for me. I'll have it on something else right up until kickoff. I can't do pregames. Just can't do it. So
yeah, I haven't watched one of them. Could one network just go back to like the half-hour NFL Today? Would that be too much to ask? Do we still have to have people laughing, like forced laughter and canned stuff? And it's pointless. I don't watch this stuff.
Yeah. All right. Really quick, stock faller.
A half hour later. And now I actually have to be like serious, but he applies. Wander Franco. It stands out a little bit more just to me in a very, 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 very superficial way. He's been on my fantasy team. He's been providing a lot of points. Okay, cool. That's not important. What's important is apparently whatever the heck is going on. I'm thinking more, and most of us there's the personal perspective, and like the person perspective. Whatever this is, we've heard there are rumors, insinuations. We don't know the specifics. He's on the restricted list, which is a bad sign. But there's also the thought of, is this going to what look like potentially one of the brightest careers of the next maybe 10 to 15 years could be done? Potentially. Because if it's leaning the way that it seems to be, well, we saw what happened with Trevor Bauer going on the restricted list. And I know that's not the same scenario, but you get in one of those, your career could be over. And Wander Franco's career could potentially be over. That's a worst case scenario, but it's also a viable scenario. That stock is crashing in real time. Let's just hope somehow whatever those social media posts aren't as bad as it's being implied that they are, and or that somehow this gets rectified and rehabilitated. All of that. I know there's a lot of question marks, but in a big picture sense, the stock is definitely falling for Wander Franco.
Yeah. I don't really have a stock faller right now anymore. So I was just good. We got some messages coming through. Mitch says, I never met a Luke that wasn't a Packers fan. Convert now, and the Lombardi spirit shall forgive thou skull sinner.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm just, Oh, Little League World Series begins today. Okay, now I'm getting sidetracked. That's a stock riser, though. Little League World Series begins today.
So you basically have two stock risers.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. You've done that before.
I have.
Keeping the
I had one.
positive.
I had one. Here's the thing. I don't write stuff down, and I probably should now. Because I completely forgot it.
You forgot.
I completely forgot what my stock faller was. I should really write stuff down more, but it is what it is.
Hey, I do show prep on this. Like I'm thinking about this in the days.
I don't script anything.
You're
It's
just
all
winging
it's
it?
all it's all natural.
I don't want you
By
thinking
the
all
way,
natural.
I know last week you asked. I inadvertently found it. Yes, there are lines for preseason games. I found it for the Packers and Patriots one.
What is it?
Some are at 3, some are at 3.5. So really thinking outside the box here. You get 3 points for the home team. So
is that still true anymore?
I don't know. I don't bet, so I don't know. But
I mean, I've been seeing some indications that home field just isn't as much of a thing. So I wonder if that's now starting to apply more to betting. And now is it more like a 2-point advantage or 2.5 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. But I did see that and I'm like, ooh, yeah, okay, because we just talked about that last week with the whole betting thing with the mothership now.
ESPN bet.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
that to me is going to get a little dangerous for some people.
Yeah, that is concerning.
Because what everybody's saying, like, you know, you got a news thing, maybe potentially feeding the narrative a little bit for betting.
Yes,
stuff.
There's that. Then there's the whole issue of what does this mean for ESPN writ large? James Andrew Miller, did the ESPN book. He had an interview on the Press Box podcast. I was listening to it yesterday, and they didn't really go more into the ethical issues of gambling with that. That's its whole other thing, like you were referencing. There's the ESPN question, and if we haven't collectively, we need to recalibrate what we think of ESPN as really the mothership. It's not that anymore. It was that in the 2010s. It's not that anymore.
As in terms of popularity or
popular significance, relevance. I'll put it this way. I think it was Miller that was referencing this because Brian Curtis is the host. I'm trying to remember which one said this, but they said the cord cutting is essentially like cancer. And how and like this ESPN bet thing is sort of like a stem cell transplant. But that doesn't necessarily get like that could go a long ways towards getting over the problem, but the cancer's still the cancer. That cord cutting is still happening. Yesterday, I saw Nielsen, they've been doing platform ratings for 2 years so that they get beyond just broadcast and cable. So they're covering every platform. 2 years ago, broadcast and cable was, so I'm including people with the cord and people that just watched over the air, was about like 63.6%. As of this past, by month, this past month, July, it was down to 49.6%. It's crashing. ESPN built their model on that, and it's going down, 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 down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Diana Rossini's leaving apparently for the Athletic, which, I mean, to be fair, that's kind of a risk too, isn't it?
Well, yeah, for sure, for different reasons, but it is. Maybe now that they're taking over the New York Times sports department, maybe they figured that out. But hey, give that a listen. It's not that long. It's the most recent episode. James Andrew Miller has his connections. He knows stuff. That's why if he's talking to ESPN, I'm listening. I think any of us should listen because he would know.
So would you say the downfall started when like DP left?
Oh no, that was way before that.
Before? Okay.
Yeah, the downfall was, I mean, part of it's the just general cultural change of how we've taken sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's a broad thing, and
because I remember as a kid, I would watch ESPN that would be on the TV the whole time. But it was more the ESPN news. It was before they had all that programming, right?
Sports Center. I watched Sports Center all the time in the 90s.
And I remember as a kid, it's like, I can't believe they're doing another show back to back. It's always live. It's always live. It's back to back. God, it sounds the same way. How do they do that? But then it's like, oh, okay, you realize it's not,
you could be like me, and by that time I was old enough to know, okay, they did it at 1 a.m. and they just repeated it. But I'd still watch it.
The bottom line was Twitter before Twitter.
Yes.
Like that's where I got at my breaking news. I would be focused on that bottom line.
Right. But this is like newspapers. Essentially, that's what that is. It's an older medium where you can get your stuff in other capacities. It's why I'm not paying as much attention to. I'm not watching the draft because I can get all my draft info online. How many people are really watching SportsCenter nowadays? I don't watch SportsCenter because I'll get my sports info in other ways. And I've talked about this with my wife. Like if we cut cable and if I lose ESPN, there's a lot that I'm going to miss considering all that ESPN is getting coverage-wise. And that's why you can't be like, ESPN's about to die. It's not about to die. It's got a major problem. It's not about to die. And I would lose, SEC games. I'm not an SEC fan, but there's some pretty significant games that I would not be able to watch. Monday Night Football, except for those ABC simulcasts. That's gone. There's a lot of stuff I wouldn't be able to watch, but if I don't have it, it's not the worst thing in the world. Good luck telling a 25-year-old Luke that. I would freak out.
Yeah.
But now, I got other ways I can find stuff. I'm okay with that. A lot of people are cutting it because a lot of cord cutters, they're not sports fans. ESPN's part of the overall cable package, which is where the money's made. Well, that money's not being made as much anymore. So what happened was when streaming really mainstreamed, 2018, 2019, 2020, that's when the money problems really kicked in. As people were like, we're not going to have cable. Let's cut that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Right.
And it's not, it's accelerating. It's
Interesting.
not stopping.
So,
yeah.
All right. Why do we always go long when you're on?
Good question.
You gotta be quiet, man. I'm just kidding.
Stop being a Viking fan. Maybe this will go really fast.
Exactly.
It's for the show.
All right. We gotta take a break, and then we're gonna wrap up things here in just a few minutes. Dr. Logan Shepke from Shepke Chiropractic is joining me right now. And Logan, it sounds like you just want to give a nice thank you, shout out to some of your patients.
I do.
Out there.
Yeah, it's been awesome. The support we've had, going through the different stages of acquiring the Altoona office, and then now with the new child here. So really thankful for all the referrals that I've been receiving from patients or other medical providers. And the support from my existing patients. You guys have been awesome. So shout out to you guys.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And, looking at the calendar here quickly too, we got football coming up with those youngsters with camp. So it might be a good time to maybe make some appointments and get adjusted before camp.
Absolutely.
And even during football season.
Absolutely. All ages. Yeah. Get in, get yourself straight, and then hit it hard.
Yeah, definitely. And be safe out there too, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So again, big thank you to everybody who's stopped by to Shepke Chiropractic. And if you want to make an appointment, where do they go to?
ShepkeChiropractic.com.
You don't have to live in Britain to get what the New York Times calls the best of British telly. Stream the UK's most brilliant series only on BritBox. Unlock acclaimed favourites including Vera and Stonehouse, starring Succession's Matthew McFadden. Plus, don't miss upcoming original dramas like Archie, the story of Hollywood's greatest leading man, Cary Grant. Lose yourself in Britain's best entertainment, only on BritBox. Start a free trial at BritBox.com.
Don't let joint pain or an injury keep you from enjoying an active life. Mayo Clinic Health System orthopedics and sports medicine specialists provide examination and treatment options to help get you moving again sooner. Call them today to schedule an appointment. Current patients can also conveniently schedule appointments for orthopedics and sports medicine via the Patient Online Services portal. Why wait? Search Mayo Clinic Health System Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and get started on your journey to recovery.
Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org.
Want the latest insight and analysis on your favorite green and gold football team? Check out the Green and Gold Chalk Talk video series hosted by Dan Kasper with new episodes each week on YouTube.
My stock faller, I remember it now.
Okay.
I was going to call out the school supply list. Hear me out here. I remember as a kid, I didn't like going to school. But the one thing I did like was back to school shopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd load up on the NFL folders, Favre, whatever.
Yeah.
The football pencils, basketball pencils, all that.
I saw someone with a Trapper Keeper the other day, and I was wondering if that was an old school one or if they're selling like 90s style ones.
Here's my issue, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to kind of a grind my gears, stock faller thing.
Shout out Neil Aber.
Hudson, schoolless, he's only allowed a yellow folder, a red folder, and a green folder.
What?
Yeah. Same with the notebooks.
Why?
I don't know. I'm assuming it just keeps everything easy. I don't want to call it teachers. I'm not doing that. But it's like that was the joy of me. It was like, okay, digging through the boxes to try to find my favorite players in their folders, right? And loading up on that. I can't experience that with my own kid now. It's a little sad.
Maybe it is for organizational purposes.
It probably is, but
get out your yellow folder.
It's like, okay, Favre folder. Okay, that's going to be my history one because history is my favorite class. I got stuck with an Aikman one. That's math because I hate math. I mean, that's what I did, right? I mean, you use your favorite folder for your favorite subject, right?
Surprised you even allowed yourself to use a Troy Aikman folder.
Well, sometimes because I would do the good old Medford. We'd run to Marshfield and go like to Mills Fleet Farm. They had the best back to school shopping then for like school supplies and that. So, yeah. Well, it was the 90s, so you had to think of it was like Barry Sanders, Aikman, and Favre, and those guys on there. So,
are there still NFL folders?
I don't know, but I really wish there'd still be, and they still got to be like the ones where it was just like full on picture of them, name on the top, last name. And that's it. Wasn't any like fancy graphics or anything like that.
You still have any
I don't, but now the more I'm talking about it, I wish I had one up in the man cave. So
I think I still have some of my folders from school.
You are nuts. How do you still have that?
Well, it's one of those they end up like in storage, like you'd figure, okay, let's sort this back there. And then they stay back there for years and years. And you're like, wait a minute, why did I keep all this? Because I did go through like a whole bunch of school stuff a few years ago. I'm like, why did I save this?
Yeah, why? What?
Well, remember, I'm history type, so of course I'm going to be more inclined to save stuff.
I guess I didn't have anything worth saving in my my school days. So
yeah,
I'm trying to eBay it. I don't really see anything popping up. Oh, yep. There's the Emmitt Smith, Randy Moss one. Ooh, Jason Kidd. Yeah, there's a good. Ooh, yeah, the vintage. Ooh, the quarterback one. Bledsoe, Favre, Marino. Oh, there's the Favre folder.
Does it say Favre in green? And
yep.
He has the 75th diamond patch on it?
Yeah, the star line, two pocket, 1997 vintage NFL folder.
For $11. It could be yours. You can buy it now.
Here's my other issue. How does this person have 4 of them? Like at one point, how did they envision, hey, one day there might be the thing called the internet where we can put stuff up for sale?
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart investment. Well, and also 1997, the internet did exist. So maybe they were already thinking ahead.
Maybe. Ooh, I could outfit 1990s Dan here. There's a Marino, there's a Bledsoe, there's the Steve Young one. Okay. Emmett, there's the Emmett one.
Yep. Would you buy a Cowboys one, though?
I would. Yeah.
Would?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Why not? Yep.
Even with all the Cowboys did in the 90s to the Packers, that's like you buying a Richard Sherman Seahawks folder.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you buy a Richard Sherman Seahawks folder?
I mean, it wouldn't be my first.
Or Bobby Wagner Seahawks.
See,
folder.
as a kid, though, at that time, growing up, there was one Packer player. It was Favre. Unfortunately, there was more than one subject in school.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately, there was. So you had to fill it in somehow. So it was other football players.
Yeah.
And it was other football
The Cowboys
players.
were really good back then, so it's not like you had that many options.
I mean, I'd rather have that than a solid color one. You know.
Red.
So, but Brian saying kids can still have cool folders. Teachers use the colors for subjects, so it's easier for kids to find the subject quicker. Special sports folder could hold all of his loose leaf stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, it's not great, but I mean, if that helps Hudson become like a well-rounded.
No, I get it. It makes
society.
it easier. It makes it easier for the. I totally get that. I'm just saying, like, well, dang it. There was a Bigfoot notebook I wanted to get for him, and no, that didn't work out.
Yeah.
So, remember the old school wooden football pencils? Or are you too old for that? Or
that might be before my time.
I remember elementary school. That was some of our prizes. It was like the old school football pencils.
Maybe.
Remember
Let's
those?
see.
Others got to remember that, right?
Okay, it's kind of ringing a bell. So maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Like you didn't want to sharpen them and use them because
Right.
they were so
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah. Anything that had those. Yeah. Okay. Now
The
it's kind of ringing a
logos,
bell.
oh yeah, here we are. $18 and they could be mine right
Look
there.
at all the things you could get.
My man cave should just be a 90s sports shrine. What the heck am I doing? Tear it all down. We're going to restart again. All 90s sports.
Why not?
Starter jackets, logo 7, whatever that thing was, that brand, and pencils.
You have NFL primetime playing on a TV on loop.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
good times.
That would actually be pretty
great
fun.
times. Oh man, this is what the kids are missing these days. Pencils like that.
Well, they're into 90s nostalgia. Like I said, they're into flip phones and stuff like that now. So
yeah, my wife wants a flip phone now. Like, because the new versions are coming out.
Yeah,
she wants one of those.
I
don't know.
See, now I never was in, like, I never had a flip phone. I didn't.
I had the Crazer. I didn't have the Razor. I had the small version of the Razor. So it was the Crazer.
Yeah,
it was actually a really solid phone.
Trying to remember which one my wife had. She had one of those, and I'm blanking on what it was. If she said the name, I would know it immediately. But it had like a fruit name or something like that. It's one of those 2000s era aughts. But no, I didn't have a cell phone till the iPhone came out. I was a holdout. I was like, I don't
You're
need one.
kidding me.
I didn't need one. Like, who am I going to talk to on the phone?
We're finding out so much about you today.
Yeah, I didn't get a cell phone until I was 30.
We know that you want to be a Packers fan. You still have assignments from when you were in school.
Yep.
And you didn't have your first cell phone until an iPhone.
Until 2000.
You didn't have the thick Nokias and playing Snake during classes or anything like that.
Well, I wasn't in class at that point.
Come on.
I was a professional.
Come on. You didn't play Snake on the old Nokias?
But I did play Super Breakout on a TI-85 walking class to class in 1994 at Memorial High School, and I dominated.
Oh, Lou.
That's surrounded by kids. Well, kids, I mean teenagers.
Man.
No, I didn't need one. I'm like,
well,
why?
We don't need a lot of stuff, but we want it.
Remember, I'm unique.
No, Luke. Oh, man. You didn't
I
have
didn't
a
say
track
that's good.
phone?
I just said I'm
You
unique.
didn't even have a track phone?
No. Why would I do a track phone? That's lame.
Not if you are 16 and you have a phone and you're carrying it around because it's the new thing, and you know.
Okay, well, I was 16 in 1994. Back then, like Prodigy was the new thing. See now, if I were 16 and when we were 16, 2002.
Sure.
Okay. Maybe then I might have been all like, "Hey, Mom, Dad, can I have a track phone? Can I have a cherry flip? Whatever it was."
You missed out on all the different versions of Nokia that came out.
Precisely.
Man,
Precisely.
That's a shame that you missed out on that
See,
era.
I was in that last era of what, like the youngest group of people that was like, why are we doing this? Why do we need cell phones? These are annoying. That was that last one.
You're unique, all right. You're unique.
Mhm.
So,
And now I can't stop looking at my iPhone. So it was just a matter of time.
Golly, I can't believe that.
See, I waited to the quality of it.
No, you can come up with whatever excuse you want. It's not that.
Why would I want a Nokia?
To play Snake. And, to put on all those free ringtones that you could go to this one website and they would text you a code and you download it. And it was like, I had like 100 different TV theme ones on there, Ninja Turtles and all that. I mean, come on now.
But like, if no one's calling me, what good does that do?
Well, that's
I
kind of
didn't
your
talk to
problem,
anyone
I
on the
guess.
phone. I'm
but
like,
that's,
why?
That's
Like,
I guess,
oh, great, it's a work call. Whoop-de freaking do.
I mean, okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, great. They want me to fill in for someone again? Click.
Well, I mean, you still had texting there too, but I guess if you
Yeah,
don't
that's
call-
true. See, but that's the thing, though. I'm more of a texting person, so I could have done that. But see, that's back when you're like, okay, I got to press this button 3 times. Got to press this button 3 times. Got to press this. Oh no, I screwed this up. Like, texting is so much easier now.
It is, but
So
those
much
were the good
easier.
old days, man.
Yeah,
You missed out.
I did.
You missed out on an era. You know what? I'm willing to bet if you had a Nokia and you were playing Snake, you'd be a Packers fan right now.
Precisely.
Never know.
Precisely.
We're going to fix that.
Gonna make me 16 in the 2000s again?
TRL's coming back too.
Oh, okay.
To the
Now I'm
Dan
in.
Patrick Show on WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1.
You're out, you're about, but you want